Media transmissions from Earth have polluted the Milky Way galaxy with completely unwatchable content. Fearing these signals will spread beyond our galaxy, Captain S and the 01 Legion have headed to Earth to destroy the source of this woke mind virus.
Bad week for Jonathan Majors, bad week for Rachel Zegler, bad week for Doctor Who, great week for 01.
I don't know who's going to have more knockouts this weekend, Colby Covington or Draymond Green.
I don't know about you, but the whole Jonathan Majors thing is the most. Oh gosh, I've completely ruined that one. Whatever, I don't care. Let's just start the show. I saw the
track. You don't I could have sworn you had an intro. Why don't you have an intro? Nobody saw that.
So mine. I'm glad to hear that mine is not the most uninspired one today.
Right. I don't even get one. So there you go.
Right. So there. That's cheating. You get to slip in. You don't have to.
He's got my back
beforehand.
That's weird.
Yeah, no work at all. You bet.
Aside from all of our shenanigans getting to you tonight, I would like to welcome everybody to the 01 stream here at Bounding Into Comics. My name is Spencer McCooley. I am your editor-in-chief and host tonight. And we have a packed show tonight. There has been so much happening in pop culture, from Disney to Doctor Who to Warner Brothers to everything. So we're going to be getting through all of that tonight. And I will be getting through it with my awesome hosts. We have Jacob right here. We have Cider. I don't even know if I'm pointing in the right direction because of my camera. And Josh is here in the ether as well. So everybody, how are you guys doing this fine Wednesday night? Aside from making the most obscure sports reference of all time for our viewers, Jacob.
Well, it's not that obscure. I mean, he just got suspended indefinitely. They asked him how many games. They said yes. So that's pretty much where we're at right now. So yeah, it's pretty sore.
Oh man, no, Josh, what are you up to? What have you been? Aside from fumbling your intro.
I do actually regret that. It was a good one, but you don't really get to hear it because humor doesn't work like that. So
now I'm putting you on the spot and I'm just having you explain the joke. So now it's going to be super funny. Like everybody's going to love it.
Oh yeah.
Right. Snyder, man.
But basically, I mean, hold on. But it's a true statement though. I was going to say that this is basically the most entertaining Marvel has been since in years. So it's still Jonathan Majors. All right, there you go, man.
No, I honestly have to agree. Every development we see in the Jonathan Majors case just makes it go left, then right, then left, then right. And it's truly a back and forth. Who knows what's going on here?
Right after we introduce Cider, speaking of irrelevant sports references, can we just spend a couple minutes ranting about that unbelievably broken contract that Ohtani signed with the Dodgers earlier this week?
Oh, the like $70 million for what? Like, oh, he deferred it too, so he's going to be paid that for like the rest of his life.
Yeah,
and he's just, all he has to do is
it's one of those. We'll give you like $600 million like 10 years after you retire, and then you'll still be making money like in your 60s type deal.
Well, it's like who is that? Like is it Bo Jackson or no? It's the oh my gosh, it's the guy from the Mets. Bobby Bonilla.
Yeah,
Bobby Bonilla. He did that. He like deferred his entire contract, so he still gets like millions every year from the Mets because he like, and I'm like, that's so smart. Like, you're gonna be paid forever, even if you get
A-Rod
injured.
had the same deal with the Rangers.
Did
he was playing in New York for like years, and he still had the Texas Rangers still had to pay A-Rod because of the contract that they signed with him during that time period. So yeah.
So I think the lesson here is don't overpay for anything. Know what you're paying for. Like, because he is like, yeah, Jacob, I was angry. I was like, are you kidding me? He's going to be a Dodger of all the teams. But then people talked to me, including you, and you were all like, it's not a good move. He's going to be wasted here. Like, they're way overpaid.
Here's the thing, like, especially with baseball, over the last 25 years, every single big market team, like the Yankees and the Dodgers, they've all been trying to buy a championship for literally the last 25 years. Like, this whole idea of like $200 million payrolls and $300 million payrolls, everyone's been trying to buy a title. It doesn't work like that in baseball. You can't buy a championship. If you look at how much money the Yankees and the Mets and the Dodgers and the Padres, all these teams paid to buy a ring, and then we end up getting like Arizona and Texas in the World Series. It's like, it doesn't work in baseball. It may work in basketball. It may work in football in some cases, but not in baseball.
It barely works in those. Like, that just speaks to like an overall like plague we have in not just like sports, but also in entertainment, where like you've talked about this before, and you brought it up a second ago, where, you know, in the NBA, they definitely do the, I'm going to go buy a ring. Like, bring LeBron over here. We're going to go get a ring. That's why we're getting him, blah, blah, blah. And that sort of like seeps out into everything, where you have it in baseball, you have it in football, but also like, it's exactly what like Marvel and DC and everything does. It's like, oh, get that giant superstar to come get, what's his name, who's in the Eternal, like Harry Styles. We're gonna get Harry Styles, and that's gonna blow Eternals out of the water, and it's gonna be our next launch point. And it's like, it never does, because all these organizations are just focusing on like, I don't like, is it that they're focusing on star power that doesn't exist, or is it that they're just like, their eyes are too wide for their stomachs? What do you think?
It's hard to say, because I mean, I can think of the common sense approach, but I don't think anyone in media knows what the hell they're doing
common
anymore.
sense, none of that.
Yeah,
we have none of that here.
It's like everyone, all these people are even acting out of like EIG, or they're just like, they're working out of emotion. And I'm just thinking to myself, it's like, I don't understand like the rationale behind this from like someone who actually has a degree in business. Like, none of these moves make any sense to me, like, whatsoever. It feels like I could have put in half this effort and been like a CEO at some company at this point. It's like, who knows?
Honestly, at this point, all you had to do was have like a Tumblr account in 2009, and you probably would be like head of marketing at Netflix right now if you really wanted to be. Like, let's be real.
You just had to throw that in if you wanted to be, because you know that you've been approached by Netflix, man. Where's your Tumblr? Show it right now.
I'll show you my Tumblr, but it's got a lot of anime girls. I don't know if you want to see it. No, the only thing Netflix has ever approached me about was, they just were like, do you want access to our press images, like our press site? And I was like, absolutely, because I don't know half of these shows we're covering. Like, I don't want to go through Witcher Blood Origin to find a picture. Are you kidding me? Like, that sounds like pain.
Yeah.
But before we get diving into everything, I want to say hello to everybody in the chat. Obviously, the first one here tonight was Leslie Tarkin saying, oink, oink, ree! Yes, the cancel pigs are out. They are scared. They are in the sunlight, and we are definitely going to break it down for you. Obviously, so much news, so much. It's going to be a fun time. Stick around. We also have Keely Chow saying, hey, everybody. What's up, Keely? Always nice to see you. DZ3 saying the same. Hello, everybody. Always a pleasure to see you, DZ, my man. RJ says, in the intro, Brie Larson looks like she found out sounding is not a musical term. First off, ew. Second of all, what's up, RJ? How are you doing? Leslie says, we always have ham at Christmas. I put pineapples and cloves on it and then pour homemade glaze on it. Yum. I don't really do a traditional Christmas meal. Do you guys? Like I get everybody gets together and we eat and we have food, but it's not like a roast or a ham or anything.
Yeah.
Hey
Nothing?
man, in my house, we changed it up every year. That was the tradition. Lasagna,
yeah? Like,
pizza, whatever you did though,
yes.
you had to make it Christmassy. So we like cut pepperoni in the shape of trees and stars, and use a cookie cutter to cut out parts of the
Right.
lasagna. So the lasagna would cook up in different shapes.
In like a snowman. I actually really
Yeah.
like that idea. I've done the thing with my family where it's like, oh, everybody, we're gonna cook something different. Like one year we did burgers, another year we did like pizza or something. But we've never done it like
this way.
themed like that. That's cool. I like that.
If anyone remotely related to me is cooking chitlins for Thanksgiving or Christmas, I'm not coming over. Like, you forget about it. Let me see you next year.
But if you have star-shaped cheeseburgers, hit him up.
Yeah. There's this tweet going around that you just reminded me of where some woman's like, my uncle showed up to Christmas for 4 minutes. He walked in, grabbed a plate of food, ate in a different room, and left. And I'm like, that's the Jacob plan.
I mean, if you're cooking chitlins, I'm not even showing up. Have you smelt chitlins being cooked in the house?
No, I genuinely can say I've never smelled that.
Yeah. Okay. So this might be something that only people like in the South would understand here, but chitlins is literally just
not that far south, Josh. Not that far south.
Yeah. You're a little too far south. But it's literally pig intestines, and you boil. First of all, you gotta clean them because obviously they're disgusting, and just the smell is just absolutely horrific. But then after you clean them, you boil them. And boiled chitlins, when you put them in a pot, it literally smells like a rotten dead body, and it takes over the entire household. Literally the entire house.
Do you have to? Is like an open pot like boil and cook and stuff, or
no? It's closed pot, but you still smell.
But it just gets out of there. Yeah.
It's like it's literally worse than like walking through a morgue. That's how bad the smell is.
Oh, that's a good one, Josh. That's a good one.
Yeah, no, I've had
nobody's ever thought that. Come on, I don't even know what it is, but it just sounds like that.
Mm-hmm.
Chit poop, chit stains. I thought you were for a second. I thought you were trying to say like Jessica Chastain. Also, what happened to her? She's gone. Like
she ate chitlins.
Well, she's been trying to produce her own movies now because she thinks that she's a strong feminist producer, and that hasn't exactly worked out for her.
Didn't she do like an abortion movie or something? Was that her? The Go Call Jane or whatever.
She's literally done a movie for like every left wing cause you can think of. She did like a gun control movie a few years ago. She did an abortion movie. She did a movie against like mega pastors. She did a movie not too long ago. I think it was regarding
climate change.
Don't look up.
Mega pastor.
Yeah, but she has. I think she even like won an Oscar, or got nominated for an Oscar for that film, if I'm not mistaken.
Do they combine and become Christron? Is that
apparently
Omega Jesus? Is that what they?
Like, the cross comes down.
Power Jesus,
right? Power Jesus, right? They form Power Jesus.
Power of God.
Is Joel Osteen the head? I'll form the head.
Yeah. Oh, that was the film. Yeah, she was doing a movie about like Tammy Faye, who I never heard of her, but that's probably a good thing.
Voltron, Tammy Faye, inseparable, inseparable.
Isn't Tammy Faye like
not related to Voltron at all? Yeah, you're right.
No, that's who it is. Yeah, she's the evangelist. I was thinking of the Eileen Wuornos, the like serial killer that for some reason on Twitter this week all the neoliberals were trying to like say was a Yas Queen icon, and I'm just like, you guys are so dumb. Why do you pick the worst representatives to latch on to?
I did see just a quick little reminder. I did see a video. You guys might have heard the story a few years back. It was a guy who killed, I think, his ex-girlfriend or some girl he was stalking. It wasn't very clear, but killed her. Then went and did an interview with the news talking about, yeah, we don't know where she is. Where could she possibly be? And then in the process of the interview, the reporter tells her, yeah, the police just found the body and they're investigating. And then he just like shuts down because he knows that he killed her. But he didn't know that the cops had already found the body. He was like, I need to go sit down.
Video. I wish I could remember what that was, because I remember that exact video, because you can see him like instant, like he knows. The second it's just like, oh, I'm done. Like he's
like, oh, I'm going to jail.
I think like the first question he asks is something like, where did they find it? And it's like, oh yeah, that's the question that like the guilty person asks.
Yep.
I feel like we've missed an opportunity to have like a true crime podcast or something. It seems like
Bound-
everybody got
bounding
really
into
excited
crime.
talking about dead people here instead of dead franchises. So
No. What we enjoy here is the same thing we always
Dead
do, which
things.
is gotchas and dead
Yep.
things.
and dead things.
Whoop, whoop.
All right. We also have CS Johnson saying nice haircut to me and nice beard to Josh. Yes, thank you, CS. I finally knew it was time to get rid of all that. It was starting to get in my way when I was eating, and I just wasn't having it anymore.
And I like Mountain Assault Josh. This is a very nice variant. I wasn't aware
he looks
that
really good. Especially
Mountain
with, like,
Assault Josh. Yeah.
He looks
the-
like
the-
Joel
the
from
problem-
The Last of Us.
Yeah, so but the problem is that they stopped me at the airport though, right? Because
Oh.
you know, I'm
Are you
the
Bear
one who
Grylls?
crashes the planes.
Oh, that beard. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, that's
Yeah.
why you shouldn't be in.
I mean, you do
in
look like the
Twitch
type.
Builder.
You do look like the type of person who probably shouldn't yell Allah Akbar in the airport. So I mean, I can't really.
Just right. So it's just
You're,
carry
you're
the cross
vaguely ethnic
instead,
enough
so
for it to cause problems.
you don't really get confused.
Let's see. We also have Henry Thrunge stopping in saying, "Hail! I'm listening." He says, "Listening while on my way to pick up my kids from youth group. Awesome.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we're not. There's nothing too extreme on our topic list. Just more, like Cider said, more dead franchises, and an extra order of dead franchises." Bayona Rad's here saying, "Hey everyone, what's up, Bayona?" And then Leslie's asking, "Am I growing a beard too?" No, I am just extremely swamped and I don't have any time to shave. So you're looking at stress beard. All right.
5 o'clock
but-
Spencer.
5 o'clock Spencer, exactly. We got Mountain Josh and 5 o'clock Spencer. Mountain Josh comes with like fun accessories like action sled dog, and mine comes with like
A caffeine addiction.
pills. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. and like 3
Kung
joints.
Fu action
Oh, boy.
caffeine addiction.
So the other thing that I noticed is that you know what, we actually ruined the designs that Cider did for us in the intro, because you
We
don't no
what?
longer have like the long hair, and I've got like a massive beard. I suppose.
This is season 2, man. We're starting to develop. These are for
Sure.
our
All right,
variant
yeah.
action figures. These are our variants, right? This we
yeah.
can sell them at like New York Comic-Con
Season
for, like,
2. You know what that
$80.
means? We got one more season till the show goes to shit.
That was a quick first season, to be honest.
Well, I mean,
But
I
8
wasn't talking
episodes,
to-
I guess, right?
I wasn't talking to Netflix earlier. I was talking to
Oh.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge. She did
Oh.
express some interest in
Oh.
joining the show. Oh man, like I saw a movie, a preview poster. I don't know if a trailer came out. It's a new movie with like Ryan Reynolds, a big cast of people. It's called It or Is or something. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
I'm trying to let me see if I can find this movie poster.
But I say it couldn't possibly be called It because that's a whole nother.
I know
franchise
it's the
in
clown.
itself.
It's the clown movie. I realized
Oh
that
wait,
as
that
soon as
one's taken.
I realized that as soon as I typed it into Google. But there is I don't know what it's about. The preview poster is like a window, and there's a if that's what it is. Okay, that movie. I saw that poster, and let me see if I can grab it because. Also, why would you do that to people? Why would you name your movie like a 2-letter thing? How can most search engines say like, oh, this was too small. You got to get like at least 3 letters if you want us to do anything with it. It makes me so
They just
angry.
want something
They're
spunky
genius.
to put on a poster. So.
Okay,
genius.
shooting it over to you, Cider. But this poster came out, and the cast. It's John Krasinski's next movie, like his own original movie. The guy who from The Office, Mr. Fantastic, A Quiet Place director. So immediately I was like, okay, maybe let's see what's up. And then Ryan Reynolds is in it. Steve Carell is in it, which is a very rare appearance nowadays. He doesn't do anything but Bad Apple shows. And it's the fuzzy hand. He got me. I was like, that's an interesting concept. I'll see a trailer. Like, what's up? But Phoebe Waller-Bridge is in it. And the second I saw that name, I had I was walking my dog and I was on my phone and I saw it and I literally felt like the life fly out of me. I was like, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, why is she still here? Like, I don't know why she's still here. It's she did Fleabag, right? Like, honest question, the panel to the
Phoebe
chat. Did she
Phoebe
do anything
Waller-Bridge is
besides
like
that?
some weird like mix between like Poochie and Roman Reigns, where they keep pushing her, like when clearly nobody likes her. Like I guess she's really wrote this whole wave because she did the Fleabag show, and I guess Obama at some point put that on one of his best TV shows. So she's been pretty much riding that wave for like 7 or 8 years now, and people are still trying to pretend like she's a thing, when she's really not. Like I just don't understand it.
No, she's really not, and that was a perfect comparison, because then while you were saying that, I also remembered that she's doing Tomb Raider for Amazon. Like, she's doing all of this stuff, and what is with the current Hollywood state where like you do one or two things and all of a sudden you're being handed everything? Like it's the same thing we talk about with the Rick and Morty to Marvel pipeline, the Ugly Betty pipeline for America Ferrera. Like what's happening? Are we just that desperate for talent, or are we that desperate for people to I don't know, to ruin everything? Yeah, exactly, Bayona. Hollywood really trying to push Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Yeah, she's supposed to be the new hotness.
They even
what is
keep in mind
Clinton
they were trying to push her so hard. They surveyed the audience who went to go see Indiana Jones earlier this year to see, hey, do you guys really like Phoebe Waller-Bridge? You think she's great, right? On the scale of 1 to 10, tell us how much you really feel about her. It's like, okay,
that's right.
Zero.
Because was that the one you got the card for?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, that's right. I knew it. Yeah, you straight Jacob. If you guys don't remember, Jacob was in a screening that had the post thing survey, and he shared it with us. He wrote an article about it. He's done a couple of like videos. It's so funny. Speaking like that's I want to stay on that for a moment. Cider, I just sent you over an article from our good friend. Some of you might know him, some of you might know the site, but we have his coverage of there was recent confirmation. That's right. Look at that Park Place. Our boy John F. Trent. What's up, Trent? Nice to see you. They're thriving over there. I hope you're checking them out. Oh, you're just wanting to show up on your stream.
Haram.
You have to leave out a glass of milk and like a rosary, and then he'll come down the chimney.
Yeah, right.
He'll be on your stream.
If I tell him the ghost of Mary is here, he would have shown up.
Where? But yeah, so as was recently covered by John, as is news, James Mangold recently confirmed that straight up they did shoot multiple endings for Indiana Jones. Now, if you guys don't remember, the gist of this particular story, which wasn't on our docket, but the Phoebe Waller-Bridge got me here, is that when Indiana Jones was coming out, when it was in development, there were lots of leaks, particularly from Doomcock. Again, opinion on Doomcock aside, he was right on this one. He had his leaks. And when they were coming out, James Mangold straight up was coming out and going, no, those are all lies. There are no multiple endings. We've only had one idea. Oh, we never thought that, we never conceived of having Phoebe Waller-Bridge take up the hat and the whip. Like, that's not a thing. And then it got even worse when John Williams, he held a concert, I guess you could, or like a performance of the like some of the tracks from the movie, like some of the score to, I'm not sure who it was for. It was probably like producers or something, but he says to the audience while he's conducting, he goes, this next track is from Indiana Jones 5. Yeah, me and like Mangold, we just got done shooting some of the alternate endings and we're wrapping that up, blah, blah, blah. And so it blew up again. Like, oh my gosh, see, Mangold, even he's saying, even John freaking Williams is saying that you have multiple endings. And then Mangold came out again and was like, he's confused. There's no, like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. And this particular battle over the John Williams thing, it saw John himself, John F. Trent, when like from the Bounding account, interact with Mangold and be like, what are you talking about? Look at all of this. And Mangold still to his face was like, no, not happening. So then we got this news today. If you want to scroll down, it is underneath the, or we can start here with the right above Indiana captured. I was going to say Nazi Indy, but that feels wrong because he's in disguise. So earlier last week, Gizmodo interviewed Mangold and they were talking about the film. And so he started by saying that when he came onto the film, it felt like a reboot of Raiders of the Lost Ark. So he said, quote, when I came on the movie, they had been playing with a bunch of different things, which were basically just reduxes of what had happened in the first movie. Just more apparitions and ghosts, and I felt like I was watching the first movie over again when I envisioned what was in the existing scripts. And I felt like what Steven Spielberg and George Lucas and Larry Kasdan and David Koch cop, I'm not entirely sure how to say his last name, as well, had done successfully in the other films, was to keep kind of pulling up a rock on a different aspect of history and metaphysics and not going back to the same thing. In a way, I didn't want to do the kind of, is it a Death Star again sort of storyline. And then he straight up admits that when he was writing the film, there was an alternate ending where Indiana, or even like not even like past the writing stage, like even in like pre-pro, there was an ending where for those of you who haven't seen that awful disaster of a film, thank goodness, don't give them your money. Don't even catch it on Disney Plus.
Don't worry, they didn't.
That is basically what happened.
Dude, I'm getting like it annoys me because I'm getting a lot of ads for Dial of Destiny on like YouTube and everything because it just got put on there or something, and I'm like,
ads on YouTube, adorable.
On my phone, okay. Sometimes you have to watch things on your phone.
This is what I'm talking about poor business decisions. You're literally spending more money in order to recoup the money that you didn't get for the movie that came out in theaters. So you're just losing more money.
Right? Like it's like financial quadrupling down is all Disney knows what to do. Oh, it's like the guy or the friend we all know, we all have, who, when the crypto boom was going off in like 2020, they were like, oh man, you got to buy, Jacob Fartcoin. This thing is going to go off. Oh, it's dropping. Buy the dip. It's just going to get like bigger. And now, $10,000 later, they have like 5 cents. Is that a real one, or was that from your mouth, or like was that a sound effect, or did you?
It's a soundboard.
I was gonna say like.
Unless Cider is like the greatest ventriloquist of all time, that was definitely a soundboard.
Cider has a multitude of skills. He's our Liam Neeson from Taken. I fully believe that. Fully endorse that.
He's gonna be our very own Jeff Dunham. He's gonna have a puppet.
No.
I do have a puppet.
The 0-1 stream in like 4 months is just going to be Cider with puppets with the three of us. Like, oh yeah, let's talk about. I don't even know.
Okay, all right. I already feel kind of crazy. You don't need to like give me a visual on how crazy.
It's not crazy. I like it. I'm like, yeah, like that's what I want.
His puppet is a Care Bear that joins Al Qaeda. Boom, run with that one.
it would be like like Jihad Bear, right?
Yeah,
like Hug Bear and Luck Bear and stuff like that. on his stomach, his symbol or whatever is the like the crescent and the star. Heck yeah. But so Mangold told Gizmodo that one of the endings that they were working with way up into the film's pre-production was, quote, when we did start writing, it was my theory that at first we would end up back in Nazi Germany in 1938. As we got there, it started occurring to me that A, that's what the audience is going to be anticipating and therefore not very surprising to them. And B, we'd plunged just back into the opening of the film only with a 79-year-old Indy running around. I felt we needed something more shocking, something bolder, and something that also affected Indy. If he had gone back to Nazi Germany, he would simply be a hero trying to stop Voller from doing his plan. If he ended up where he does end up in the film, he was going to be facing bigger questions about his own life and what he studied all his life. And I thought that was going to be more interesting. And also, usually bolder is better if you can do it. I think that's it, right? Yeah. So that end quote. So that was what Mangold told to Gizmodo, which he doesn't come out and confirm like all the rumors are true. But this is sort of we catch people in this all the time. It's the Kevin Smith situation all over again. It's these creators, they come out and they lie to our faces, your faces, my faces, and my spaces, and then they when they get caught, they double down. And when it eventually comes out that everybody was right, they just play it off like nothing happened. Like, oh, sorry, my bad. Kevin Smith did the exact same thing. He still hasn't apologized to Clownfish TV for absolutely excoriating them over leaking the entire plot of He-Man. What is that? Whatever. Revelations, whatever that crap is.
Yeah, Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, Masters of the Universe. I was talking about this on WDW Pro Show on Monday, but like a lot of and it started like a good discussion in the comments and everything, but like a lot of people sort of go, okay, or let me restart. So either people are critical of them and they go, oh, why are you lying? Like, you don't have to do that. Or people defend them and they go, well, what was he supposed to do? Was he supposed to, admit that you had guessed the ending to his movie? This is what they have to do. And it's like, no. One, they don't have to like rake somebody over the coals. That's not part of PR. You know, if you can just say like, oh, I don't know. But more to my point is that I think the way to do it is the way Sean Levy does it, the director of Deadpool 3, which is people keep asking him like, oh, is this person in the movie? Is Taylor Swift in the movie? Are we going to see this Marvel crossover? And you know what Levy says? Levy doesn't go, you know, oh, no, you're not going to see that. And he doesn't go, oh, anybody saying that is stupid. He goes, you'll have to watch the film to find out. But like, you don't have, I don't understand the defense of you have to answer people when you can, what I like Sean Levy's not excuse, but like his defense, I feel like that's what they used to use all the time back in the day. Like back at cons and stuff, you would ask a director like, oh, what's going to happen in Blade 3? And, oh, you're going to have to, you know, wait to find out. Ooh, are we going to see this in the movie? You're going to have to wait to find out. Now it's all just super hyper combative. And
remember that
really,
time
really
James Gunn went ape shit on Twitter when people guessed the ending to Titanic?
James Gunn to Titanic? Wait, what?
James Cameron, whoever, one of the Jameses.
Oh.
It was a joke about Titanic. It's ending.
Okay,
People guess the end of Titanic because the ship splits in half and everybody dies. Yeah.
Well, like, and that's exactly it. Like, I don't know. I don't see this sort of petulant.
Yeah, James Gunn did Titanic.
Disney.
He absolutely steered the ship into the iceberg. I will tell my children that James Gunn sank the Titanic.
The James Gunn cut has an adorable like living soot ball from the bottom of the ship that accompanies Jack on his entire journey up and down the ship. We know how Gunn rolls.
Yep, it's his wingman and getting rose laid in the back of that car. Yep.
The creature, like, instead of the handprint, it like looks in. That's like a Taika Waititi joke. Yeah. Let's see. CS Johnson, always accurate. SJW's always double down. And but like, that's the thing. At this point, I don't even want to call it doubling down because we're far beyond doubling down. They take it from like 0 to 1 million, which is like sort of like what we're talking about here. You don't have to insult everybody. You can sort of just go, nah, like I don't want to engage. Like, we're good. Like, come watch my movie. It's insane that everything has to be a battle. Everything has to be a fight. Like, and how is that supposed to endear you to your audiences? It's like Jacob said, nobody over there has any business sense. Otherwise, like, if I were a Hollywood executive, you know what I would do? I would say, get the hell off of social media to everybody, like, especially people. James Gunn, like, you brought that up, Cider. I think maybe this is like a perfect time.
Yeah, he crashed the Titanic.
Yeah, well, he did crush the Titanic, but don't worry. In Volume 2, Jack has a vinyl record that he plays on a gramophone that he takes away with him.
No, there is a Titanic 2 video game. Okay, so that's real. So
What kind of oh wait, isn't that like an old like?
That's an old bootleg Russian-made thing. JonTron went over, and like when you're saying the sequel to Titanic, I just have like Vietnam flashbacks to that.
Just
it's like you want this to end.
Well, Jack has to defeat the ghosts aboard the Titanic in number 2, but he's aided by mice.
Did you not? Have you not read a history book? That's actually what happened.
Yes.
Let's see. We have Henry's asking, Cider is Liam? Maybe like Liam
Deep
Neeson
lore.
or
no,
Liam
Deep lore.
Neeson. Yeah.
Wrong.
Oh,
Liam.
Deep lore.
Deep
All
lore.
right. Leslie says they are trying to create movie stars like Golden Era Hollywood had. I think she's referring to what we were talking about, Jacob, where they're like buying everybody in and stuff. And it's true, they're trying, but genuine question to everybody. And like actual question. Who was the last like it person that Hollywood pushed that genuinely took? Like, there's Jenna Ortega, there's Brie Larson, there's freaking like Josh Hartnett. I can't remember any of these people sticking around. And yes, I know that was a very large gap between my examples, but
yeah, I'm gonna say Josh Hartnett to Jenna Ortega. Like, there's some years there that we're missing.
I think I'm too young for John Hart, whatever his name was.
Josh Hartnett. He was in all the like rom-com movies in like 2001. I only know that because like I have a bunch of sisters, but I use him as my baseline because like that dude was everywhere and then he was just there. Like he was just gone, like off the face
I
of
think
the
Leslie
earth.
brings up a good point here. I mean, it's not, but we're not in like a golden era, like per se. Like we're in the content era. We're just making movies
Yes.
to justify our own studio era. Like
It
there's
fills dead air.
Yeah, exactly. Like, no, it's like, you remember like 20 years ago when like digital cable became a thing and all of a sudden there was like 100 channels on and everyone was so excited because it's like, oh my God, we got 1,000 channels. I'll never run out of things to watch. And then we ran out of things to watch in like 2 years.
Yep.
2 years, like there's just nothing else to watch. And now, and what happened is that everyone realized, oh yeah, we can't afford to produce just original content 24/7. So let's just buy up the old content and show that in between. So stuff like G4 just became a network for like cops and cheaters, and then everyone wondering why it died.
Really
So
G4 just became like Spike TV. Like that's all it was. It was just, but it was the
worse. It was like,
but it was worse, and it was in the premium channel, so like nobody was watching it. Yeah, Spike TV
because you had to. It wasn't even like regular cable. You had to have like premium digital cable in order.
Right.
To
If you didn't have a guide button, you couldn't find it.
Space cable.
I mean, right before G4 died the first time around, like I think it was DirecTV. Like that's it, the first time. DirecTV literally said that, yeah, we don't see the value in G4, and it's like, this is the thing. Yeah, like literally they said that outright, like in public. I was just thinking to myself, why would you bring back G4 without addressing the reason why it died 10 years ago? Because no one watched it.
And then Frosk.
And then Frosk and the cesspit hit or the cesspit hit. But like I think that's
you brought back Sessler, but you didn't bring back Morgan Webb. It's like, what was even the point?
At least they brought back what's his name, Jake, like Pereira or Kevin Pereira. But he also was like barely there. He was there for like the beginning, and he's like, okay, bye, and then he came back for the last show, which is like, why wouldn't you keep him around? Why do we have to have Frost? Like,
why would you even bring him back though if you can't bring back Olivia Munn? I mean, the chemistry only worked between those two. If you only have one half of the piece, then it's still not going to work.
Ugh, but like, do you want Olivia Munn back? Like new, like NU Olivia Munn? Like the way she is now, she's Hollywood deep end. Like we all know that. Like when she was when all the Stop Appy hate stuff was, going on for 1 week before before libs realized who was attacking Asian people. She was all on that train. Like, why don't we get stories? Why do white people get to direct us? Blah 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 blah. And it's like, I don't want.
Keep in mind,
I feel like if I go to a bar and I talk to her, that's what that kind of crap she'll talk about, and it's like you're exhausting.
Well, keep in mind, her career really fell off of the hinges pretty bad after the whole fallout with the Predator situation. Because you remember what happened with the Predator. Literally the week at the movie came out, Olivia Munn decided that she was going to reveal that there was a person who worked on a movie who was like a registered sex offender, and then like it was Shane Black had to like defend like his whole casting, and that pretty much like torpedoed that movie. It had like no chance of being a success after that. I think it lost like a crap ton of money, if I'm not mistaken.
It lost a lot of money. Did you see it, Jacob?
I saw it. It wasn't good. Like it just simply
really
wasn't
bad.
Good.
Yeah, it's not full of like messaging or anything like that. It's just a bad movie.
It's lame.
It's very lame. Or I guess there's a slight bit of messaging where Olivia Munn's character is definitely like the girl boss, like scientist lady. She definitely plays that role, and it's annoying as hell. Like,
but ever since then, like her career just completely like exploded, because it's like, you don't torpedo a major studio movie the week it comes out. Because I mean, it wasn't a good enough movie to begin with, but that definitely drew people away from that film, which made it significantly worse.
And then she was like, or go ahead, Cider. Yeah.
I was gonna say, you could say that her career went downhill after she stopped eating hot dogs taped to the ceiling.
Throwing them out her face,
when
dressing
stopped,
up like Sailor Moon.
No. This Olivia Munn, that's the gal on G4, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about
taped a bunch of hot dogs to the ceiling, and she was walking around in a tank top, just like a turkey, staring up at the sky in the rain, chasing these hot dogs around, trying to get them in her mouth. It was like their whole, like, whatever their news show was at the time. It was like that was like that whole time, right? Because there's nothing to talk about that.
That's exactly what I was going to say. They're like, we don't have news, so attractive woman eating hot dogs. Let's go.
Well,
but then somebody said, that's boring. Let's tape them to the ceiling.
I know we're going off on a tangent here, but I do need to point this out. I found out about a week ago, and I told you guys about this. So if you guys don't recall, this is going back about 20 years. There was two networks at the time during the digital TV boom. It was Tech TV and G4. And in 2004, G4, which was owned by Comcast, NBC Universal, bought Tech TV so they could combine the networks and get more outreach. And then we all know what happened like years afterwards. It all fell apart. Do you know how much they spent on Tech TV back in 2004? I literally just found this out a week ago, and it blows my mind.
$1 billion.
They spent $300 million acquiring Tech TV in 2000. I'm not making this up at all. It was
a lot of money.
$300 million in 2004. So I don't know if anyone wants to put that in like an inflation calculator to figure out how much that would be today. But I was like, why would you spend that much money on Tech TV? Like literally, there was like 2 shows on it, and it was like there was no value in it whatsoever.
It's because they like everybody thought like, oh, we like gamers are the next market, but like people who like play video games and stuff and like nerd culture, like everybody here, we can smell insincerity like a mile away, and we can smell like marketing a mile away. So when you have both of those being pushed on you, like, hey, Cider, you're a gamer, you like game TV, here's some game shows for you. It's like, so I'm a normal person.
Could you please say game a little slower? Because that sounded like you like gay TV. Here's some gay shows for you, Cider.
Well, like, I mean, it was
so. Would you like a subscription to Disney Plus? I think we can arrange that.
I'm all set. I am really all set.
Yeah. Okay, so adjusted for inflation, that's $490 million. So imagine spending
I just did that too.
$490 million on a network that you basically folded into your TV network and killed in less than 1 year.
And it's like Tech TV was the stuff that people wanted to watch, like Leo Lepardo and stuff. Like that was the only interesting stuff. And then you had
and was it Martin Sargent and the original X-Play.
I liked that show where like people would call in and be like, hey, I have a tech problem, and they would like walk them through it. I don't know. It was a good like Sunday afternoon.
Did you try gluing your keyboard back to your
Did you turn it on and off? Like I've heard that on that show so many times, and it works. It's like 7 segments in a row where that's the one that works.
Oh my god.
Let's see. The chat has some answers for us. Hey, it's me and HD said regarding like who was the last person who actually took. Hey, it's me and HD guesses or puts Jennifer Lawrence. I think that's a pretty good. I could see that actually because she did have a pretty sustained career until she took that break or whatever, and now nobody really cares about her because she's already done it. She already did all the first. There's nothing left for her to do, right? She was already the first female star, the first female ever born, the first female to eat a croissant. Like she's already what do you call it? Like cleared the mountains. Henry Thrun really says Henry Thrun says The Rock. I wanted to pitch this one to Jacob because like I feel like that's a little more organic, but I also don't really know his jump from the WWE to like Hollywood. Would you say he was pushed?
If it did, it came later because Rock left WWE for Hollywood in like 2004, and then he tried to do like B-level action movies, and that didn't work out. Then he had this weird era where he was doing like Disney movies, like The Tooth Fairy, for a little bit, and then it wasn't until like maybe 3 or 4 years after that when he started, taking growth hormone, and all of a sudden he was in like Pain and Gain and Fast and Furious. That all of a sudden it's like, oh, The Rock, he's an action star now, and then that whole thing happened. So yeah. I mean, I'd say the latter portion of it was probably a little bit more organic when people actually liked him, but yeah.
Yeah, right. Like to me, and I think I brought it up on this show before. I've at least told you, Jacob, but like my moment when I was like, The Rock is over, like this is sad now, was 20 like when he introduced the Rams at the Super Bowl. I forget which, it was like very recent, like in the last like 4 or 5 years. But he introduces the Rams, and he's like in a polo shirt, and he's talking about like his tequila and stuff. And I was like, yeah, you're like so fake at this point. Like you're not Dwayne, so you're like The Rock TM. And that was the moment where I was like, yeah, we're done with that.
I think that was like right after he had also said that, he cried when Biden won because he hated Trump so much too. And that was just like, you really.
Oh, it's fine though. He's gonna run for president. Isn't that going to be fantastic?
Mm-hmm.
The guy who literally has no experience in this area. Like, we're going to have our own Zelensky. That's awesome.
No, it's fine. He already met with the CIA. They told him what to run on. So, I mean, they'll guide him through the presidency, I'm sure.
No. They didn't even put in that much effort. They're going to make his running mate like a pure asset and be like, all right, just tell him what to do. Worm tongue him.
Yep.
Let's see. What else have we got? Henry Thrun was asking, was that the recent Predator where it attacks Indians? No, the one Jacob and I were talking about was the one before. It's called The Predator. It was like 2018. It didn't do great. Luigi says videos on demand to be better. Oh, videos on demand to be better these days. Hard copy still rule in ownership. I mean, I just say don't ever go digital. We just saw PlayStation go, oh, hey guys, all that Discovery content you paid for, nah, like you can't,
all those thousands of dollars of videos that you accumulated over the last few years, those are gone. Get wrecked.
And like, I looked into what they removed, and I was like, maybe it's just things like nobody watches, but it was like their big stuff. It was like Duck Dynasty. It was like all the Chip and JoJo stuff, all the MythBuster stuff, and I'm like, oh, dude, that like I know people bought the MythBuster stuff, right? Like that's how I'm sure now I know people are being affected. Like it's so awful. Do you guys remember? I think Schneider and Josh might remember this, but back when
of course we're the old ones.
No, it's not. What old? Schneider is like my age, and you're older. Be quiet. I'm talking about you and Schneider. You'll remember this, but it was like the E3 where they announced the PS4 or the 3, I think, and they were I think it's 4, where they were like digital only, you can't share games, like you can only play your copy. And then Nintendo came out with a commercial where they were like, here's how you like can share games.
It was actually the opposite. No, it was actually the opposite. It was Xbox and Sony.
Okay, that's right. Yes, yeah. It was Xbox who was like, can't share. Nope, this is ours. And then PlayStation came out, and it was like,
how you share.
Yeah, and this is how you share it. And they just like handed a copy of the game over.
And then I think Nintendo came and aced both of them and said, hey, you like those old games? We have a complete store totally dedicated to those that you can play with your friends now. Multiplayer's available online.
But when can I have voice chat, Nintendo? When can I have voice chat?
They don't want you yelling obscenities at each other in Mario Kart. It's never going to happen.
And you know what? I'm honestly like, it's a smart move for Nintendo.
You imagine if they paired up the lips, right? So Mario's shouting hard R's at you as you're getting the trophy at the end of the Grand Prix. Oh, they would be so mad.
Oh man, that would be so great though. That's like the
full PewDiePie moment, right? With Mario's mouth flapping.
Woohoo! Dude, that would be like his cancel moment. We would have that clip playing on CNN, like Mario races. Like I could see it happening. It would be Nintendo.
Has Nintendo gone too far?
Yeah, exactly.
Wolf Blitzer's like, were 2 nukes enough? Find out tonight.
Oh no. Oh no. Godzilla -2 coming to theaters. Okay, back to the chat. Let's see.
We're so canceled, dude. We're so
done. We're so done.
They haven't been canceled yet.
Right. Oh, hold on.
They try. Got him. And that's why we need to take a stand against. Oh, we're back. Let's see. Who was saying that? What's funny? Oh, yeah. What's funny, guys, is that the Xbox One pioneered everything that has become common with modern consoles. Yeah. Everything that's wrong with video games sort of started with that era of the all digital. And I don't even know how we got on this tangent, but that's the route we're going down. Don't buy into it. If you can't like hold it or like choose when you want to interact with it, you don't own it. Like that, it's plain and simple. Like if you have a file saved on your computer, that's yours. But if you're like, oh, I'm gonna go stream it on Hulu, well, not quite. Or like the a lot of websites, and I've never done this, but like YouTube does it, Amazon does it, but you can like buy movies on their platform and it like stays in that library. I've never done that. because I feel like not only does it not, but like I feel like that's the first place that's gonna go. I feel like I don't trust a digital storefront as far as I can.
What happens when the power goes out? Oops!
Right,
there goes all your movies.
There goes all your movies. There goes all your progress. You can't connect. You know, if you have a power,
there goes your girlfriend.
You know what? She lives in Canada. They still have a mail system. They can still get back to me.
She doesn't go to this school. You wouldn't know her.
Wait, was that your show? Or no, wait, never mind. I confused up streams. I was thinking of something from Jacobs that wasn't there, and now I'm just making a fool of myself. Don't Let Them Burn says, remember Xbox is always on until they got pushed back? Yeah, and that's sort of like the problem Cider and I were just talking about. Back when they were, and some games still do this, they require you to be always online, even for their single-player modes. And that's a new level of insanity, because it's reliant on their servers, it's reliant on their verification, it's reliant on your internet connection. You know, like Cider said, what if a tree knocks out a generator for a day or two? Well, you can't get to it, and they're not going to, give you credit for the days you couldn't access your games.
Right, and actually, look, this really very egregious example. Like it's even stupid as well. Like the Bethesda, this thing with the basically every copy of the new, or not the new, but the classic Doom, right?
Yeah.
And so I got the thing for Switch, because it's like, okay, Switch, whatever. Right, so and I got it, and the thing is, I couldn't play it unless I was connected to the internet, defeating the purpose of the portable console. Which is
right, exactly.
What? I can understand that if you want to be online, whatever, playing on the PS5, PS4, whatever, I understand it. But this is a portable console, and no, you have to play. So yes, they got a lot of push. Right.
Yeah, and you're completely right. Like it 100% defeats the purpose if you have to be always, like, if you get a portable game that always has to be online, especially because, like, I don't know, it's already annoying enough having to fiddle with, pardon me, connecting to the internet, like, on my phone when I go to, like, a Starbucks. I don't want to have to pop open the Nintendo browser and type in one at a time each password, and then when it's not right, it clears it all out, so you have to start over again. It's not user friendly.
what about some other games that also log the game behind, like, an account? So Ubisoft, for instance, does this, right? So I just recently got the Ezio collection for the Nintendo Switch as well, right? Because I haven't played it in like 10 years, whatever, and I was like, yep, I want to replay this game. No, you don't get to play it. You need to create an account with Ubisoft, because otherwise you can't access the game. And I'm like, well, bro, why do I need to create an account to play games?
A lot of, who is it? WB Games does that a lot. Like, I feel like they had it for Injustice too, and I was like, I'll log in, fine, but why? Like, why? Like, I just let me get in there. Let me kick out like Aquaman's butt. I don't need to do all of this rigmarole. And it's all just, it's part of them. To me, I always feel like things like that are always part of these corporations trying to get to find a new metric to latch onto that they can brag about, right? Because, like, we see that in entertainment all the time, especially, movies, streaming and stuff. They do the minutes, like, watched or minutes engaged nowadays instead of, like, viewers or plays, because none of these metrics, like, a lot of metrics look bad for a lot of these companies, and they're all just trying to ignore it. They all want to ignore it until it goes away, but it's definitely not going away anytime soon. Let's see. Yeah, Don't Let Them Burn says the digital non-ownership movement emphasizes the WF mantra. You will own nothing and be happy, also known as obsolescence and commie talk. Yeah, no, I actually fully 100% believe with that. It is I don't know what's the word. Like, it's a prime example of that. You will own nothing and you will be happy, because they'll take it away from you just like that. You give them, it's free money for them. They can just take your money and then go, oh, I'm going to close you out of your account. We've seen people have, like, their Xbox accounts and their PlayStation accounts just closed and lose access to everything because they, I know there was one instance where, like, somebody had Jesus is Lord in their username, and that got them in trouble. There was one very recently, I forget what game it was. I think it was Fortnite or some other Epic game, but somebody typed STFU in the multiplayer chat, and they got banned from Epic for, like, harassment or whatever. And that all their stuff is gone now because they just said that, like, the most common like anger expression of all time. It's nothing. And he lost everything. It's so bad. Let's see. Yeah, exactly, Mitch. I tried playing Elder Scrolls Online, but when I lose my connection, my internet connection, it kicks me back to the title screen, which was every 10 minutes. Right? And you don't. That's the thing. It's like always online. You also run into that problem of what if there's just a hiccup? It doesn't have to be an internet cancellation, but maybe you just get a weak signal for a second. And now, like you said, Mitch, you're kicked back. And even if you can go right back in, it's still just not conductive to playing, like, to fun. Miracle Molly, yes, exactly. I think we all agree here. I always buy physical media. Always. I don't think I bought one digital media thing, I think. And it was back when iTunes, do you guys remember when iTunes used to have like the free code downloads on the caps of like Pepsi bottles back in like 2007? I downloaded a Sum 41 song because I had it for free. Like that's the only thing I've ever digitally downloaded. Oh, and that stupid U2 album that they forced on everybody. That's still there. That it stays with you like herpes and it just won't go away.
That's U2. Yep.
Yeah. Timon says the answer for digital content equals torrent plus blockchain. Not an answer endorsed by this stream. Not at all. Not an answer endorsed by this stream.
But if you are a Buccaneers fan, I would suggest these sites are right below.
We have Dante Erics bringing a discussion from the Bounding into Comics Discord into our chat. Love the cross-contamination, but I think the real controversy is mashed peas on a damn hot dog. Did you know that that's a British food?
Is that Josh thing?
Yeah,
Is that
it's a British food that, like, it's just a hot dog.
How did I know? How did I know that Josh was responsible for this without even asking?
A lot of hot dog talk tonight.
This is welcome to Bounding into Hot Dogs, your source for gourmet wieners.
Josh doesn't know he's muted.
Terrible British food.
Josh doesn't know he's muted.
Josh, are you coming to defend your Hicks fish dogs?
Yeah, he's been muted this whole time, even though he's been trying to.
No idea he's muted.
Right, so basically, I'm not going to defend it, but it may be just a fish. Just remove the fish and just instead just get like a real hot dog and that's it. It looks actually delicious, to be honest.
Throw
in some slices of
I can't do the mushy peas.
Pineapple, right? Yeah.
Like
I don't know, but yeah, it looks
guacamole, mac and cheese.
That's what I said. Imagine if it was like guacamole.
That was fun.
And queso.
That was fun, guys.
I know. Don't you want to continue reading? Log in for your free trial today.
Is there any? Okay, all right, cool. Can't zoom in on things, but there it is.
Typical. I mean, did you really expect anything more from the British? Let's be completely honest.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a lot more colorful than the usual British fare, you know.
That's what
Dante said. This is an abomination.
Oh.
I mean, I'm kind of with him. Let's be real. Anything coming out of there, any foodstuffs from Britain, I'm like
any kind of people from there.
Them too. They're the worst part. But like, this is what I was thinking, Cider. Like, you pulled up that photo and I was like, oh, it looks a little better than I remember. But this is like food photography, so it's probably got like its saturation boosted up. It's probably like not cooked all the way, so it has the right texture. All right, look, you've got some fans. It's Me in HD says it looks good. Leslie Tarkin says 5 fingers and custard. Anyone? Any other Whovians here? I think I might be the only like barely Whovian, and I only watched season 9. So.
Oh no, I know it. I know what she's talking about.
Okay,
I don't
good.
like Matt Smith though. I don't like him. I thought it was a very strange fetish for a doctor to have.
It was Matt Smith was a very, 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 very odd doctor. He was odd.
Well, he's supposed to be the broken one because he's born out of
Tennant, like right off of the Time War.
Radiation death. Well, he's out of Tennant's radiation death.
Oh, that's right. That's
what
it was.
Screw it up a little bit, and that's also mingled in with Donna's meta crisis, where like there's a double doctor made, and now he fucks Rose in another dimension. It's crazy.
The meta crisis thing is so confusing, but it doesn't matter anymore because if you're a woman, the meta crisis energy can just
go away. If you're female presenting.
Oh, how could I forget female presenting?
Yeah. Speaking of Doctor Who.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Do you want to flip us up to one of our very many various Doctor Who news drops this week, Cider? I'll let you choose. What are we starting with? Oh boy. One of my favorites for this week. So, guys, if you didn't know, if you're sort of out of the loop on Doctor Who, recently the series came back. It, it wasn't canceled or anything. There's just, typically like a year or two hiatuses between seasons, and the British call them series. It's confusing, but it works. You get used to it. But so when Doctor Who comes back, it typically comes back with like 3 specials at the end of a year, a Christmas Day special, and then the series starts out from there. So right now we just finished up the 3 end of the year specials that are reintroducing, or rather introducing, the new Doctor, Ncuti Gatwa. And as part of those specials, one of the plot lines was that, David Tennant is back. For some reason, the 13th Doctor, Jodie Whittaker, regenerated into the 14th Doctor, but he had the appearance of the 10th Doctor. That's sort of the whole, like, oh, the mystery, what's going on for the specials. It does not have a satisfying conclusion. I don't know if anybody really cares, but they sort of just go, you're there. And they sort of like split the Doctor in 2 and give him 2 TARDISes. And they just sort of say like, there you go. Bye, generation. Like, we're all fine now. But more to the point, as part of Tennant's sort of return adventure, one of the things that happened in the very first episode, after he got chastised for using the wrong pronouns, and after he learned that the only true way to handle a multi-dimensional crisis energy is to just be female presenting and let it go, and all that, like, you guys have seen that by this. I'm sure everybody's seen it at this point. But at the conclusion of that episode, the Doctor and Donna accidentally, Donna spills some coffee on the controls of the TARDIS, and it sends them flying off into time and space. The next episode, the second special, Wild Blue Yonder, it opens with, we find out what happened. And what happened is they land in England 1666, and they happen to crash land in a particular orchard field where they come across none other than, yep, there he is, Isaac Newton, right? Sir Isaac Newton.
Tan.
Dude, very, very tan. He's not been studying physics. He's been taking in those rays, right? He's just very tan, much darker than we historically know him to be. Again, it's an obvious fact, but Sir Isaac Newton is a real figure. We have documented pictures of him, or paintings of him. We have firsthand accounts of him. We know what the man looked like. We know who he was. He was a born and bred Englishman, right? So for, the interaction, the content of the episode itself is fairly benign. The Doctor and Donna crash. They go, hey, what year is it? I got to recalibrate. Oh, by the way, stay away from London because the Great London Fire is coming because it's 1666. And then Donna says like, thank you for gravity. And then they disappear. And then Isaac Newton's like, oh, what was that word? Savity, bavity, mavity. And so like the content itself is not egregious. They don't even really mention his race. So like that's why I haven't been able to say like he's now like a half Indian Isaac Newton, because he's just there.
The actor like to call racially ambiguous.
Dude, he is 100% racially ambiguous. Like he is your Zendaya, like to a T. And so, yeah, there was a lot of backlash against this for, I think, what everybody here knows is very understandable reasons. Again, real world person who has been race swapped. We're seeing this a lot lately. Obviously, we know that the big one was Cleopatra from earlier this year, where they
Anne Boleyn, yes, last year.
Yep, we had Anne Boleyn as well.
Also British production. So.
Also a British production. Yeah, look at the Brits.
This is what happens when you pander to the why weren't there no black people in France in the 1400s crowd? Like that. This is exactly what happens when you pander to these people.
Well, I don't know if you know this, Jacob, but there was literally, Insider can probably like identify which Doctor it was. I think it was Whittaker, right? Where it's either Whittaker or Capaldi, where they go back to like the great like Victorian London, and I think it's Capaldi, and Capaldi comments like, oh, like, like a lot more like Indian or diverse people here than, I would have imagined. And his companion is like, didn't you know, like London is far more diverse than the history books did. Like they whitewashed it. Like it's a whole, like they have a whole scene with it.
That was when he was traveling with Bill, the one that gets turned into the Cyberman.
That's right. Yeah. Also, Capaldi I like Capaldi.
Capaldi was like the whipping boy of the SJW agenda. Like they were like, really "Hello, old white man, bend over."
My favorite part still of like New Who is the fact that when Capaldi regenerated into Jodie Whittaker, the first thing that happens is the glass ceiling above her shatters, and she like looks at the camera and goes, "Hmm?" And it's just like, "Are you serious? Like really?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
really?"
Yeah,
it's so egregious. Miracle Molly says, "God, it's like they went back in time and race swapped a historical figure, and where does it end?" Well, that's sort of the thing here is that it doesn't end. They've been called out on this sort of behavior over and over and over again. The other one I particularly remember was King Jarl, the Viking like lord who established like one of the biggest like English trade or the Norse Viking trade colonies in Netflix's Viking series. Black lady, like it's so tired and it's so obvious, like it's always the same way too. But there's also, I didn't have time to write this story. It happened back in August, but did you guys hear about the Netflix limited series Painkiller? Or is that what it is? Is it Painkiller? No, it's dang, like Pain Pushers, is that it? Is it
Pain Hustlers? Is that the one you're talking about?
No, because it's about the Purdue Pharma case. Is that Pain Hustlers? I don't think it's Hustlers. It's another one. I have it in my
because I
bookmarks.
reviewed Pain Hustlers. So
I know you reviewed that one.
Yeah.
No, this is I believe a miniseries. I just have to. I know it's in my bookmarks. I just looked at it like 2 hours ago. Scroll. Oh no, did I like unfavorite it? That's unfortunate. No, this is now turning into just a really bad
search
segment.
Netflix lawyer race swap.
But see, that's
right.
Yeah, I did that, but then it brought up like a bunch of other stuff when I was looking for the thing. So
what do you know?
Netflix, Purdue. I know, right? Like, oh wow, I can't believe that so many people have been race swapped. Let's see. It is called God, what is this series called? It's called Painkiller. It is called Painkiller. So it's a Netflix series about the takedown of Purdue Pharma and how they were pushing a bunch of like opioids on everybody and sort of fueling the opioid crisis, right? That whole takedown it just happened like 4 or 5 years, 6 years ago, maybe. That whole takedown was led by 2 white male lawyers. I don't know their names off the top of my head. They were big. Yeah, right.
One female?
No, there was none. But in the Netflix series, both of them have had their roles replaced by an original character who is a strong Black woman.
Oh,
like you cannot make it up. It's insane the levels. Like that's going from beyond race swapping to rewriting history, like just straight up rewriting history.
Yeah,
one might say blackwashing.
I was about to say, did you not hear a little film called The Woman King last year? We've already gone past rewriting history. I mean, yeah.
Oh my gosh, there was something sitting on like the tip of my like brain, and I was like, what movie am I trying to think of? Like race swapping, history rewriting, and because it's not a race swap movie, that's why like I couldn't land on it. But yes, Woman King is probably the biggest historical revisionism, right? Like I can't think of another one.
What if we made the people who are directly responsible for the trans-African slave trade and made them the good guys and pretended like they were fighting?
But there's a strong Black woman. Jacob, you don't get it. Viola
it's funny.
Davis.
It's funny how like the French and the Portuguese are white when it's convenient, right?
Right. Oh yeah, 100%. That's the identity politics trap. Is white people are white people
when it's a historical movie, the French are Black, but if it's a slave movie, all of them are white. They're white as snow.
I mean, they did the same thing with the like slavers in Black Panther, like exact same thing. But yeah, so we have a Black Isaac, or not even Black, but like what did you say? Ethnically ambiguous Isaac Newton. Very weird. Everybody sort of, took notice of it for good reason, because it's like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? And right after the episode's airing, we got a response from the series casting director. His name is David Opie. Love that. It's like the most typically like British last name you could have possibly thought of. But Mr. Opie was speaking to, oh no, I jumped out of the tab. because I'm done. So David Opie was speaking to Digital Spy earlier this week, or early last week, late last week, sometime in recent memory. And basically, the interviewer gets on the subject by going, "Oh, by the way, they're talking about the show, they're talking about everything else, yada yada." And then the interviewer goes, "Oh, by the way, that was really cool to see Nathaniel Curtis in the role. How did you keep that like a secret?" And that's what they started with. And for those who don't know who Nathaniel Curtis is, he is a half Indian actor, half British actor. He was his biggest credit was as like Brian, I don't remember how you pronounce it, in The Witcher Blood Origin. So it's not like he's the biggest get like you can ever get. But so Opie goes on to explain how, that cameo worked out, how it all come together. And he explains to Digital Spy, quote, "Because it's a brief but important moment, you can get an actor in and out quite quickly with parts like that. That was Russell T. Davies' idea, actually. We had talked about trying to get Nathaniel on the show at some point, and I think it's a sort of rather cheeky but fun interpretation of Isaac Newton. It's not a historical drama. Let's just have some fun with it." Nathaniel was very game. He's a fan of the show. Such a lovely guy, and he had a great time. So then, fine, kind of fluff PR answer, nothing against Nathaniel, like they just put him in the role, whatever. But then Opie asked,
I don't know, man. You're still guilty if you take the role. So I don't know.
That's actually, as soon as I said it, I was like, I really hope somebody calls me on that, because I don't even believe what I just said.
Just remember this. A few decades ago, somebody asked Will Smith if he wanted to play Superman at some point, and it was like, nope, I'm not going to play Superman. It's like disrespectful to the character or whatever, right? Because it just doesn't look the part.
Yeah.
And there you go.
Good point. No, and I know we have talked about this before, which is like, you are complicit if you are taking on the role. Maybe not so much for the like dialogue and stuff, right? Obviously, because you're not the writer, but for giving your support, giving your talent to that rewriting of a character, right? Like, yeah, so I'm definitely there with you. So yeah, some blame does fall on Curtis, but yeah, so no, but that's true. Josh got me. I got.
Well,
but so
and again,
shut down.
Yeah,
like England, and in particular London, the capital, was trafficked by quite a few Indian citizens, because again, they were part of the empire. So it's not impossible that Nathaniel could have simply been playing a character that is in the royal court as a representative of India. He could have been that historical figure and had more of a touchstone to his culture, rather than, haha, we made Isaac Newton an Indian. Ha.
And like, I that's a really good point, Cider. Like the haha taunting, because this happens this is the first scene.
He said it was cheeky. He said it was cheeky.
He said it was cheeky, but like, if you're like, this is what I'm trying to say is like, if you're a viewer, the first thing you do, you're like, okay, Doctor Who time. The first thing you see in that episode is Black Isaac Newton. So not only is it like, look, haha, rubbing in your face, it's the first thing, but it's like, oh, you're gonna make people confused and go, what the hell is happening? And they're gonna pause it and they're gonna go online. Like, it's just it's
the Doctor filming in an alternate dimension,
right? Exactly. Like, what's going on? Oh my gosh, I don't know. And like, it's just all around a bad idea. You don't need to do it. You don't need to do it. But so Opie then so then Digital Spy sort of turn the discussion to the backlash against the appearance of Curtis in the role, because again, this was like late in the week. Curtis had shown up last Sunday, some time to go by. So the Digital Spy asks, quote, "You've engaged a bit with this discussion online, but I wondered if you had anything else to add on this response to castings such as these." In turn, that oh no, sorry, it's not Opie. Opie is the Digital Spy guy. It's Andy Pryor. That's the Doctor Who casting director. My mistake. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
But so Pryor responds to Opie's question there, and he says, quote, "It's sad that we're in a time where people villainize minorities. That this sort of chatter, I'm very good at kind of tuning it out. And I'm also very, very happy to block people on Twitter. I don't really have any time for bigotry at all. It then becomes even more important to give people a voice and for people to be represented, especially for young people growing up who might be trans or from any minority. If they see themselves on screen, then that can be a huge lifeline for some people. That can make them feel part of the world. which indeed they are. Social media is a bit of a dangerous place, because I think people get sucked into saying things that I don't know that they truly believe. It just becomes a game for them. Unfortunately, real life isn't a game. I think it's important to stand up for people who are marginalized. Growing up as a gay man, I'm as aware as anybody else of how this stuff makes you feel when you see it, how that negativity can affect you. I don't really think anyone should have to go through that. It's an important thing for me. It's an important thing for Russell and the whole Doctor Who team. There are so many ways of telling a story, and the more you can introduce other ideas and other kinds of people, the more exciting it is. End quote. So to me, that is like the most quintessential display of it's not technically Hollywood, but I guess like entertainment industry using sort of don't be racist as or like accusing people of bigotry as a shield, right? Like we see it all the time with literally every Marvel movie ever, every Marvel comic book, every DC thing. And honestly, like I feel like in recent months, maybe I've seen a downturn in like rhetoric over here accusing people. Like I think people in America have sort of realized that that's all bullcrap. Like, or at least they're starting to, that not everything is a racial thing, blah, 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 blah. Like slowly but surely, it's not a big like thing, but I'm seeing more and more of it over time. I just think over there, they clearly haven't gotten, they think it still works. And it's so clearly just a defense because, or go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Because you also have to understand that, you know, these people live in a bubble. So you talk about like, why do they not understand that these things don't work? There's nobody in their bubble to tell them that these things aren't going to work. They're literally just in like a bubble of just like constant false positive reinforcement. And then when something bad happens, it's always somebody else's fault. So there's never any accountability within the circle, right? Because anyone who would bring you accountability or question anything, you guys cast out. You don't want anything to do with those people, so you kick them out of your circle. So you end up doing, like I said, you end up just going through this parade of just bad decision making and not understanding why this is a bad decision, because anyone who can point and say, hey, maybe this is not the way to do it, or maybe this is a bad idea, like you kick those people out of the room. It's like I said, the whole idea of like pitch meetings, so you can point out like, hey, I don't think this is going to work. It's like, we don't do that anymore, and this is why we get stuff like this.
I mean,
gaslighting, yeah.
The best example of that, I think, is the Henry Cavill situation. Again, when he was like, don't do this. This is like not how you do the show. This isn't The Witcher, blah, blah, blah. And all of those anonymous female staffers came out and were like, he's a misogynist dude, bro, gamer. And it's just like,
we wanted to kill his horse and make it not matter. And he got super mad about that. And then he quit.
I mean, come on, dude. They wanted to turn Roach's death into a Marvel joke. Like, this needs to stop. Like, it needs... There was... Oh, man, I talked to Josh the other night, but I watched over the weekend. I don't know how recent it is. I think it's fairly new, but a fan made an edit of Godzilla King of the Monsters where they cut, like, a bunch of things for time and pacing and whatever, but their main thing was they got rid of every single stupid piece of humor in that entire movie. Like there's
just unwritten Millie Bobby Brown in it. Neat. She really needed to be lost.
She really kind of isn't that big in the movie, and it makes it better, and everything sort of just flows better. Like, for example, I was telling this to Josh earlier. There's that scene near the end of the movie where Ghidorah's attacking Fenway, and Vera Farmiga and is it Ron Livingston? Is that who the dad is? But they show up, and there's that scene where the dad is looking for Millie Bobby Brown, and he's screaming like blah blah blah, and then Vera like shows up in the Hummer, and she's like, get in, right? In the theatrical cut, there's this whole 2 minute or so scene inside the car where Ron, like the dad, tries to talk to Vera Farmiga and like sort everything out, even though she's like a terrorist right now, and he's with Monarch and the good guys. And then the reason they remember where Millie Bobby Brown is, that she went to their house, is because Ice Tube, he says something like, yeah, man, oh my God, you guys fight so much. If I was your kid, I would run away too. And they go, run away? She went home. But in the dramatic cut, Vera sort of shows up, yells, get in. And then they sort of go to like the next scene, they're just there. And it sort of makes it more of an idea of like panic, working on parental instinct, sort of, protect the kid before our jobs, instead of, oh, I'm totally fine with my wife who let Ghidorah out of his cage and basically doomed the world. So that's just a quick tangent to say, yes, Ghidorah. That was just a quick tangent to say, stop putting Marvel clips in everything. I don't remember the last time they worked. I don't think they really ever have.
That's fair.
Yes, that's true, Timon. Millie Bobby Brown, the one that got told by a fortune teller to be a feminist. Jacob, what's worse? Millie Bobby getting told to be a feminist by a fortune teller, or Emma not Stone,
Watson.
Yeah, Emma Watson, Hermione, becoming like a witch because Saturn influenced her waves.
Well, it's the same timeline. Basically, Millie Bobby Brown, Emma Watson is basically where Millie's going to be in like 15 years. We're basically watching the prequel.
She's going to marry herself? Wow.
I would. They're going to marry. Then they're going to get a Netflix.
Crazy.
They're going to get a Netflix special. Obviously,
she did that. She declared herself a self-sexual.
I mean,
who did that?
Quick little side note here, like
Emma Watson,
Emma. Yeah. Oh my gosh,
she's dating
what is that?
herself.
Euphemism for like masturbation or what?
Well, I don't know. Maybe it has to deal with like the all the SRIs that she's on. So like, there's dual personalities up there in that little noodle. But my best guess is that it's narcissism, and it's like, I can't find anybody who's better than me, so I'll just buy nice things for myself and forget about them, and then when I find them, I'll treat them as a present.
No, I mean narcissism. No,
we covered this. I think maybe we had a conversation about this earlier this week, where if you look back on like a lot of these, I know Millie Bobby Brown is not a Disney star, but it's in the same line. If you look back on a lot of these Disney stars, like especially the ones that we kind of grew up with, like the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, a lot of them just completely went off the deep end. I mean, you had the guy from Jet Jackson committed suicide. The guy from the Jersey drunk himself to death. You have people like Shia LaBeouf and Lindsay Lohan who had complete public meltdowns. You have people who just disappeared off the face of the earth, like the girl who played Liz McGuire's best friend went and got arrested for meth at certain point in time. And I mean, that's not even counting like, the newer versions like the Raven Simone's and the Selena Gomez. It's like it's just a 20-year pattern of just like everyone who's ever worked there has just gone completely like off the insane asylum.
I like that though. Like it is like this just sort of path that they all go down now. Like they all go down the same one.
It's funny because like Hollywood is like literally like the only place where you can't notice patterns. You know what I mean? It's like if put it this way, if I ran like a daycare center and like the number and like 20 kids who came out of my daycare center were like all just screwed up, eventually you would have questions for me, right? Like eventually you would start like poking around, like it seems like there's something going on here that we should be looking into.
We need to at least have a phone call, like just a 5-minute phone call at the very least.
No, those kids chose to be screwed up. It had nothing to do with Jacob.
Yeah.
If anything, he helped them stay away from being screwed up for a very long time.
Yep.
Remember Dan Schneider? I'm pretty sure.
He beat me. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I got into this whole thing, by the way. That's how I ended up finding Bounding into Comics.
I wasn't the Dan Schneider stuff.
Well, no, actually finding Bounding into Comics. It wasn't actually like directly through this. I was following a guy. I forget his name now, but he was doing a series called Pedowood, where he was exposing all of these guys.
I remember that guy.
And he linked to one of your stories about something that was going on with this with Dan Schneider or Viacom or something.
Yeah,
and he was like,
probably
this is Dan beginning the spiral of quitting because he's finally getting exposed. Jeanette McCurdy on Dan Schneider's birthday records a video every year of her face all screwed up in makeup, and she's like on her back looking up at the ceiling in all these videos, and she says, "Am I pretty now, Dan? Am I pretty now?" And that's all she says, and that's it for the video. Doesn't address it, moves on.
Mm-hmm.
It's the craziest
stuff.
stuff.
Talk about how she got something happened between her and a producer, which she didn't name, but it's like it could have only have been Dan Schneider. There's literally no other producer she worked for during that time period. So,
and so for those of you who don't know, Dan Schneider was he's not there anymore, but was the producer, sort of series runner.
He was basically the guy behind so many like shows on Nickelodeon during like the 90s and the 2000s. It's like he's been involved like Zoe 101, Victorious, Amanda Show. Like he's basically been
he's
around
the guy
for a
behind
while
the bathroom stall. Yeah.
But yeah, so obviously there's a long history of him having creeped on all the actresses, yada yada. If you really want to go down the rabbit hole, we're not ready to hear. We weren't prepared. It's not the right place. But just Google like Dan Schneider foot fetish, because the man has an insanely strong foot fetish. And once you realize that, and start watching what he produced and like the sort of skits the girls were doing and stuff, it gets
not only that,
worse.
Spencer,
But
on the iCarly website, he produced a video where he asked fans of the show to send in pictures of their feet.
That's right. Yes, he asked. It was like just like a video on the site that was like for the kids to interact with, and it was like send pictures of your feet, and we'll put them on the show, or like we'll put them in the bumpers or whatever. Like it. It is bad.
Well, not only that,
good old Dan.
He was also after he did what was that the iCarly show. He did the Victorious, and there was another guy, like a music producer on Victorious, who was like I think 35 at the time, and he started dating one of the girls. I think her name is Liz Gillies, while she was like 14 or 15, and they got married like recently. But apparently the timelines match up where he was like in his mid 30s and she was like barely a teenager, and that's where they started hooking up.
Wow,
it's that moment of like, oh, congratulations. Wait a second. Let me do the math really quick.
The math ain't mathing, G.
Jacob, do you remember, or Cider, and maybe Josh would know, but there was one particular Disney star who's like, she's like a redheaded woman, and she does like pornography now. But do you know who I'm talking about?
No.
It might come to me eventually. Maybe I'll remember it by next week. But there's this like Disney Channel actress who used to, like, after her show was done, she was like trying to cultivate like an online following and stuff, and so she would do the social media game. But something like broke at one point, and she started doing like nude pornography videos and like actual porn videos. But there's also like, it's weird because if you look at her, she's like got this like dead face, like, come
Lindsay
see my
Lohan?
videos, and it's like, no, it's not Lindsay. Dude, Lindsay Lohan looks like the New Mexico aliens or whatever. Or the Peru aliens. That's what she's looking like right now. Like the.
I mean, look, there's so many broken Disney stars. You got to narrow it down even further than that.
There we go. Hey, it's me and HD. Bella Thorne.
That's
who it is.
Yeah.
Bella Thorne.
I was gonna say, I just found it. Yeah, I can't show you, but I just found it.
Yeah, we can't show you. But like,
she's another one in the long list of just Disney starlets that have just completely fallen off the wagon.
And I mean, like,
and Maitland Ward as well, the Boy Meets World girl.
Yeah,
she's also doing some creative photography.
You know who got out relatively okay was Topanga. Like she just has
look
like
at Hillary Duff. She's a mom. Like that's like, you know how slim the chances of her going through Disney and coming out alive on the other side, let alone being a productive member of society.
I think to be fair, it's like because a lot of like the Disney starlet stuff started with her, or at least like after like her. So I think she got lucky enough that she was like better on the tail end where she wasn't as affected by it as like everyone else who came after her.
You know, whatever happened to the girl that played Xenon?
Oh my gosh, Zeta Cepetus? I don't know.
No, Xenon.
Isn't she on like a soap opera now? Century. Yeah, I think, isn't she on like a soap opera now, or she had been on a soap opera for like a while? I don't know what you're talking about, but yeah, I think she's still working. I mean, she's not, Xenon anymore, but
let's see. She was in General Hospital for a long time.
Yeah.
And now she doesn't do anything. She stopped acting.
Probably for the best.
Oh no, never mind. She's still on General Hospital. That's all she does now. I
didn't know that was still a thing.
Oh, dude, soap operas will go on for like.
There's like two left, but they're still going.
Like we joke about how it's like comic books are like, oh my gosh, you're really taking away Peter Parker's identity again just to make another story. Like, soap operas do it even like they're more bold-faced about their like retconning and changing everything. Where it's like, oh, grandma has an eye patch now because she was sleeping with the like driver from over there who's actually a drug lord, and the drug lord's now throwing a fiesta inside. Like it just goes 900 different places.
Yeah.
And the more Eastern you get, the crazier the soap operas get till they're unintelligible. Like Filipino soap operas I don't know, man. I don't even know if that's actually. I feel like I'm being punked when I see those.
Speaking of unintelligible soap operas.
Yes, we should definitely get to this. So it was really funny that you brought that up, Jacob. I believe it was you who was like, everybody is just sort of trapped inside their bubble and they don't, listen to everybody, and they've kicked everybody out because in the vein of Doctor Who, we literally had Ncuti Gatwa, who is the new Doctor, come out and say that his Doctor is basically going to be, the progressive Doctor. So,
because we hadn't had one before.
No,
so now we're going to get one.
Well, like, that's the thing is, like, you didn't enjoy your female one. Well, now you're going to get that exact same sort of writing but from a black perspective.
Bigger, blacker, and woker.
This is the thing that annoys the hell out of me about this setup, okay? So you have this guy coming in. Well, they've already introduced some of his either regenerations or degenerations. I'm not sure what they'd call them. But you remember that angry black doctor that showed up when Jodie Whittaker was
right? Wasn't that her?
No, she wasn't a war doctor.
She's the something.
She would, but she wouldn't reveal where she came from. She's like, "Oh, you're me, but not. But I'm also you, but not." And she was just really mean, spirited, grumpy doctor lady. And now we know where she came from. So just like the white doctor regenerated into a Karen, guess what the black one regenerated into?
Oh my gosh. And it's true because that's how the
an angry
ends.
black
they both exist. They both exist now. So now he's just gonna regenerate down the black line. Like, again, that's a good before we even get into this, that's a good question. Like, can they regenerate into a white person next? Like, is that
they bi-generate at that point.
Again,
when he makes it to female, he's got to bi-generate an Asian guy. That's how this is going to go.
No. It's going to be a Palestinian.
Do you see what happens when you don't just end a television show?
Yeah, right. You end up with black guys with no pants in front of a group of white women. That's.
Oh God, why?
Yeah, that happened.
Average rap video. What are you talking about?
Sure.
Let's see. But yeah, so Gatwa, he's the doctor now. He just got introduced. There was all the bi-generation stuff. He's clearly, like, I totally believe Schneider now. I think that's definitely how they're going to lead into having her exist. But so Gatwa was recently interviewed by the Daily Mail, the Daily Mail had the transcript, but they were interviewed by a place called the Radio Times. And I only make that big distinction because I know I've been yelled at by Brits about it before because they're not the same thing. Whatever. But so they basically, it was a sort of a normal just interview, like, how do you like being the doctor? What's your experience like? Yada, yada. And so he started, the first question was sort of like, how did you feel about preparing for the role? Were you ready? And he sort of told them that he, one of the first things he did to get ready for the role was go talk to his last four predecessors, everybody but Eccleston, for reasons that we may or may not get into. But so he talked to David Tennant, Matt Smith, Peter Capaldi, and Jodie Whittaker, sort of pick their brain, tell me about the doctor. And he told the Radio Times, quote, while they all gave him amazing individual pieces of advice, he felt a particular affinity to Jodie Whittaker just because of the shared struggle, as in the doctor's never been seen like this before, and what that means for naysayers. How do you navigate that? She was so generous with her story and her experience of it all. Then he started talking about, he sort of jumped to the next topic, and it was about the backlash to his casting. And he said, I was a little bit braced for impact and then was very pleasantly surprised because it was the antithesis of what I was expecting. But then also what's scary is that we all live in social media bubbles. I remember scrolling on Twitter and being like, oh my gosh, I'm so loved. And then I clicked on one tweet and that wasn't positive. And then that opened up an entire world of the opposite feeling. Oh no, there they are. Seeing the anagrams of my name made into a racial slur was just lovely. So, talking about that, yada, yada. Then to that end, the Radio Times asks him, well, what's coming next for the, will any of that play into sort of your adventure as the doctor? And he told him that, quote, as I say, I live in a very leftist liberal bubble. And in fact, there's a really great episode coming up next year where we lean into that. From there, he was then asked if the series would address at all the fact that he is black now. And he told them, yes, quote, yes, definitely. It would be stupid if we didn't. The Doctor has always walked into unknown situations and taken charge with authority. Historically, there's only one demographic of people that are able to do that. And it's certainly not women, and it's certainly not a woman, and it's certainly not someone black. Thank God things are changing. And end quote. So if you had any hope left over that Russell T Davies was going to save the show, I don't know. Like, I don't know what to tell you. The thing that stands out to me about this entire story is that sort of, do you really need to address the Doctor's new race or his new gender? You can sort of just, that's sort of the whole point of the Doctor, is that he regenerates, you accept it, and we go. And so I feel like, again, this is just going to be another glass ceiling moment where Gatwa walks in somewhere and, I don't know, a bunch of white people trip over themselves and look foolish trying to make fun of him. I don't know, but it's going to, nothing he said makes me positive that it's going to play out any other way. Like, I even had the thought in my head where he says, "Oh, I live in a very leftist liberal bubble. We're going to lean into that." I had a thought where I was like, "Oh, are they going to lean into it as sort of the idea of Gatwa being like, of the 15th Doctor being too liberal and sort of up his own butt and not seeing things?" And then I immediately was like, come on, this is the BBC. This is Russell T Davies. That's exactly what they're going to do. So,
of course, why wouldn't they?
Yeah, exactly. So welcome to the age of, if you didn't enjoy all the lectures about Jodie Whittaker being a woman and how groundbreaking that was, well, now you get to hear everything about, you know, being black and being gay, because that's what Gatwa is. And I don't know, Who fans, it sucks. Like, I genuinely know that it sucks because you were like, oh, Russell T Davies is coming back. He was a good writer. He cared. And now it's just, he's accusing everything of racism.
Single-handedly trying to kill this entire thing.
Well, he's single-handedly sort of going on this apology tour for things that don't really need to be apologized for. So
unless you're in a woke bubble, which is just 24
That's
hours
exactly
victimization.
it. That's exactly it. So back in the or no, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, when you're in a 24-hour bubble of you're a white male, it's like that. That's probably, you probably have to feel like you have to apologize for some things. It's
well,
like,
that's
go ahead.
Like you're hitting the nail. I know you're joking, and like, but that's literally what he's been doing. We had the
look. I am so white right now. The light hitting me is causing my camera to like try to fight the overexposure. Okay. Like, I live the white bubble, all right? I am the white bubble.
Man, you should be apologizing 24/7. Give money to Jacob right now.
I'll just Joker tattoo sorry to my forehead. I live close enough to Canada.
Yeah. You got dye your hair pink too while you do it too.
Yeah, I did it once before. I'll do it again.
You got to shave half of it. You got to shave half of it as well. But,
okay. I haven't done that part, but
good. But so, like, to that point, you know, we saw the, you know, the Doctor is black now, and then, you know, Isaac Newton is black, and we had the whole trans whatever thing in that first special. Like, he's on this apology tour, and nothing encapsulates that more than this right here. So on your left, you have, this is a villain called the Toy Maker from Doctor Who. He's sort of like, you know, the game master arcade. Like, he toys with everybody. That's his thing.
He's the game master. Okay.
Nowadays, but back in the 60s, his outfit was that sort of old Chinese imperial dress, right? Even though he's very clearly a British white guy. Mandarin. Thank you. Yes, actually, that's way more accurate. And he's actually, so he appeared like that in the show. Throughout the years, he's retained that appearance. While I was doing research for a bunch of things, I don't know the exact source off the top of my head, but there was a comic book or some art form medium that's canon to Doctor Who where the Capaldi Doctor, so what is that, 13 meets the Toy Maker, 12. And he's wearing 12, you're right, yeah, 12. The 12th Doctor meets him, and he's wearing the whole Chinese dress or Mandarin dress. Russell T Davies came out, and so now Davies reintroduced the villain in the latest special with Gatwa. He is now played by Neil Patrick Harris, who everybody knows. He's Doogie Howser. He was Spider-Man, the voice of the MTV one. You know him. You probably like something that he's been in. But he changed the appearance to where now the Toy Maker sort of, you know, he has costumes. He's more like a playful villain, like a Joker type almost, where in one scene he's got like a full tuxedo with a top hat, and then in another scene he's dressed up like a World War I aviation pilot. And there is this clip from Davies where he was asked about, like, why did you do that? Like, why did you change the toy maker's appearance? And he straight up admits, I don't have it in front of me, so I can't say it verbatim, but something along the lines of, well, we knew that if we didn't address it, we would be accused of racism. So I thought, we just had to do it. We can't do that anymore. And that to me is like the encapsulation of sort of living in your liberal bubble, where you're making something and going, oh no, is everybody going to get mad about my racism? Like, I have to make sure this is totally acceptable to everybody. And it's not conducive to creativity, and it results in kind of where we are now.
Remember when Hollywood used to be a fun place? I mean, at least had the appearance of being like a fun place to be. Remember, like the Hollywood they sold you in like the 90s and the 2000s, where it was nothing but making movies and sleeping with women and going to parties and all that good stuff.
Remember when you didn't know that the executives were actually sleeping with the children?
Yeah, exactly. Remember when we didn't know about the child rape and the Baal worship and all that stuff? Remember how it used to be? Now it just seems like I can't even imagine
when they kept their opinions to themselves.
And I can't imagine just the pure misery is just being like in that environment anymore. Like even outside of even the darker elements to it, like people just sound miserable. They sound miserable and unhappy. It's just like, well, like you just look around. It's like, do I need to find a new circle of friends? Because I don't think I want to.
But then you can't make a new circle of friends, because if you leave, you get attacked and they rail against you, and they make sure you can't have any friends in that. You got to like move cities. You got to find like a new hobby. You got to go completely out there. Let's see. That's actually a really, we've seen admissions of people sort of living in fear. There's a story I'm working on right now where a trio of now ex-Hasbro employees sort of, they gave an interview like yesterday, the day before, and they talked about what it's like to work at Hasbro, Magic the Gathering, all that fun stuff. And there's a quote in there that people are living in fear. And I think that's a good turn. There is another individual who called out people living in fear and sort of said, we're not going to have any more of it. While Cider sets that up, and I think everybody knows what's happening, I'm going to go to the chat real.
Oh, yeah.
I think you know. Yeah. Oh, you've already got it. Dang, you're way ahead of me. Let me go to the chat really quick. Let's see. Leslie Tarkin says, still no ginger doctor. Correct. Were any of them redheaded before they got old?
Well,
the other
hold
doctor,
on.
like
No,
doctors?
that's been a joke since I think the 10th Doctor. When David Tennant showed up, he was like pulling on his teeth, and then he was looking at himself in the mirror, and he says, still not a ginger. And that's been a joke ever since, because it's played up that his regeneration is very like traumatizing for his companion.
Yeah.
And so his whole like act is meant to be like very alienating, but that became like an iconic just imagine a man dressed up as your friend you've traveled with for a couple of years now, and he just starts pulling on his teeth and complaining that his hair's the wrong color, and he's just brand new to the world, right? And so that was the kind of kooky, crazy, disturbing thing, but it became cute. And so now every now and then, when the doctor regenerates or he's meeting an old companion with a new face, the joke, somebody you're still not a ginger, I see, comes up.
Okay.
So
I like that. Okay, cool.
Old.
Oh, I get that. I like that. Let's see. Yeah, everybody, we've got don't let them.
It used to be very wholesome.
And now it's why still no
the
ginger
opposite.
doctor. You're never getting a ginger doctor. The second the writer's room says ginger doctor, they'll like draw it out, and then Russell T Davies will say he'll play a little anagram with the word ginger and say that's our new one.
Oh.
I know I got a little spicy there. But yeah, see, Don't Let Them Burn thinks it. Hey, it's me in HD. What? This guy is so misguided. Huh? What the heck is this guy talking about? And that's really it. That guy's not really talking about anything. There are very valid criticisms that were leveled, or who are even talking about at this point? There's so many. Are we talking about Davies? But like, I guess it doesn't matter.
No, they're talking about Ncuti.
Okay.
This is Ncuti's we got to take back the doctor.
Yeah, and so like that's sort of what I was just gonna wrap up. It doesn't really matter who the subject is. I just wanted to make sure I knew who I was focusing on. But it is their bubble. They are all in that bubble. They don't know what they're talking about because they've only been fed that specific rhetoric on repeat for years and years and years and years. And then when you challenge them on it, you get what happened with the casting director, which is even like normally they're able to go, oh, you don't like that casting, you're racist, blah, 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 blah. But when you get a very valid one like this, like an easy win for like our side to go, why are you race swapping real people? Their brains shut off. They just go, standard, you're racist, you're a bigot, transphobia, everybody should be represented. Like, I encourage you guys to go look at, like, read that guy's speech. Go look at the words written, the casting director's speech written out. It is the most robotic corporate, like, press button for inclusivity sort of speech he possibly could have given.
Sure. And I can assure you that Disney's handlers gave him that to say exactly, like ChatGPT scripted. I can assure you that
100%. That's what they did. No,
because they sat around. They sat around and they said they're going to be mad that we made Isaac Newton not white, and and they were like, okay, so you tell him this when that comes up, and then you go cross-eyed after that.
And you sundown right after that.
You have reached the end of this answer. Please ask another question.
Please green light another Marvel series to continue. But like, but I think that's another good point that we just really haven't brought up, but I think is important to remember in this entire discussion is this is also Dr. Disney now. Like, this is Doctor Who Disney. They are getting production money from Disney. They're getting and they're also Dick Who, and then Dick Who. And then so while it's not a mouse or an Avenger or a Pixar creature, this is still Disney and they're still at it. So just keep that in mind. And then Leslie says, I left during Whitaker's first season. Hartnell, Capaldi are what I will continue to enjoy. I left like during Capaldi season just because I got busy. But what I liked during, like, what I saw of Capaldi, I was like, I like it. I'm very much about Capaldi as a doctor. Just remember, guys, the G.I. Joe pronouns debacle. I don't even know if I know the G.I. Joe pronouns debacle. What's that one? Maybe we know it. Maybe we don't.
I want to say a G.I. Joe character had pronouns on their box. Maybe I'm misremembering it.
That kind
in
of
the comics. Maybe it was the pronouns. Or wasn't that was the big fat lady who was supposed to be Roadblock's replacement?
Right. That's who I'm thinking in my head, right? Like, I think you and I are on the same page. Hopefully, Hey It's Me can remember us or remind us.
Yeah.
But DZ says, I don't care about being called a racist or homophobe now. And bigotry is not the word they should use either. Bigotry is not the W they think it is either. Well, that's the thing, is that bigotry, like racism, like all the other buzzwords they want to throw at you, it doesn't mean anything anymore. It literally just means I don't like you, or, Cider didn't bow down to me demanding he, go green. Oh, you're a bigot.
It's
like, what does
son
that
of a bitch,
right? Like, what does that even mean? And now your live's over.
I have gone very green, sir, as you can see.
I know. I picked the worst one out of all of us to like put that example on.
You put that green agenda on me.
You put that on me, Ricky Bobby. That's what it was. I do remember this. Hey, it's me in HD.
Oh no, here it is. It's the G.I. Joe brand manager demands that
gamers got us.
Yeah,
I do remember this. Yeah, when it was just during a Q&A session. When you go up, they were like, "Give me your by
the way,
what's your pronoun?"
By the way, G.I. Joe, another Hasbro brand.
It's all imploding. But yeah, like it's going to keep happening. They're all in their liberal bubbles. Nobody, because of what Jacob said, they pushed everybody out. Nobody will ever tell them no anymore. And everybody lives in a literal culture of fear. And as we were sort of about to touch on, and we're going to touch on now, we're finally getting an actual legitimate stand against, or sorry, let me rephrase that. The stands have always been legitimate. They've always been valid. They've always been in the right. But now we're having big name support, I guess you could put it, right? Like a Mark Millar is huge. If you guys don't know him, I don't know where you've been for the last 20 years, but he's written things like
5'10".
Oh, he's very short. And what is he? He's like Scottish, so it always throws you off. So he wrote Kick-Ass. He wrote Civil War over for Marvel. He wrote Nemesis, Big Game, all that stuff. He had a couple Netflix series that didn't go anywhere. He wrote Wanted. So the guy is a very prolific creator. Like, he has the chops. And recently, we went over this last week, but if you guys all remember Glenn O'Leary from the Comic Palace, he was the comic book owner who had the video where he ranted against writers for not, knowing how to write, basically inserting themselves into everything. And, it got a ton of attention. He got dogpiled by a bunch of comic industry pros, people like Donny Cates, Jamal Engel. And because of that, he, Mark Millar saw it. Mark Millar, if you don't know, he's been a proponent for a long time, or not a proponent, but he's been aware of the situation in comic books for a long time. Mark Millar knows the market's not healthy. He's saying things like, we need to get better creators back. You guys need to do something. He's never really attacked it from the sort of, woke, non-woke side that we all do, but he's definitely, from the quality angle. I know this is all really, really bad. You guys need to do something. And so after Glenn got attacked, Millar said, this is unacceptable. Forget this. And he invited Glenn onto his show, which is where the story from last week sort of ended. He joined Millar. It was a very nice chat. They didn't really say anything new. I didn't really have enough to do a follow-up on that video. They chatted. They recalled what happened. Millar, heard him and said, you're right. I got you, yada, yada, yada. So after that, the video starts making the rounds. He starts blasting it out. He starts saying, yeah, check it out. I really want people to hear what he has to say, because this is a shop owner. This is the person who pushes your stuff. And in return, people started weighing in. People started, encouraging him, insulting him, everything in particular. But there was one specific interaction that sort of kicked off an entire poop storm, if you will. Now, it happened on Twitter, and it was between it was Millar and another individual we all may know, but Cyberfrog creator Ethan Van Sciver, Comicsgate founder, but one of the early leading figures in Comicsgate, old Green Lantern artist. You guys know him. He's around. He needs no introduction. But so after Millar shared his interview to Twitter, Ethan, he replied and gave him a very nice compliment. He said, "Terrific job, Mark. Thank you. I feel like you might be the only one who can destroy this evil. That's what it is. It's killing comics. I'll get more eyes on this interview right now." And he did. Obviously, he blasted it out. People have been talking about it for weeks now. In response, Millar said, "Cheers, bud." That, it sparked a poop storm from the industry, because, we had people like Joe Glass, Daniel Calvin, Renfamous, who we all know and love, right? They all sort of started pooping themselves when they saw, oh my gosh, he's talking to a Nazi racist fascist. Oh my gosh, Millar, you're such a bad person now. I knew you were always a secret one of these, blah, 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 blah. And one of my favorite interactions, was the Renfamous one, because after unfortunately, that's why I enjoyed it. I was like, oh my gosh, I know you. Hey, it's been a while, pal. How are the kids? Not that she would have any ever, but
I hope not.
So Renfamous joined the party after seeing Millar get the compliment, or after seeing Millar reply to Van Sciver. Renfamous jumps in. She compiles a thread. She's like, maybe Mr. Millar could respectfully look at this thread of all the people he is now throwing his weight support behind. And the responses were your sort of typical anti-feminist just tweets. They ran the gamut from no, he has a point, this is you guys have ruined the industry, to just the tweets we always see where it's women are the worst and get them all out of here. So it ran the gamut. But again, it was just random people, nobody associated with Millar or Van Sciver, any of that stuff. Renfamous makes that thread, tags Mark Millar, says it would be really nice if you looked at it. He just blocks her, and her response is oh, okay, I guess you're cool with all the misogyny and hate speech. And it's just that's how you interact with these people. Don't give them an inch, otherwise they're just gonna if Millar had replied to Renfamous, you would still be hearing about that as a drama point next March. I guarantee it.
There's no right answer
like that. That's exactly it. And because there's no right answer, whatever you say, they can go, aha, remember that? Aha, remember that? That's all they care about.
Remember that time you asked remember that time you blocked Renfamous because she accused you of being a sexist, racist, misogynist, homophobe? You're
Remember
so
that?
weak,
Gotcha.
Mark Millar. How come you wouldn't want to sit there and be pelted by a literal blue-haired land whale with raccoons in her walls?
She is your superior. She is your moral better. You need to bow to her. But so so while that was happening, while all these, for lack of a better term, hanger-on wannabes, grifters, after they started storming Millar, Comics by Perch put out a video where he noticed another avenue of sort of rhetoric that was being laid out there against Millar, which was multiple fans, and we see this with everything. Like, this is not related to comics. It's just what everybody does when they don't like you. Started going, Mark Millar's villains are really bad. For example, if you guys have read Nemesis, it's the most like over the top, overtly edgy book of all time. Rich guys dress up as a supervillain just to have their fun, and it ends with like bloodshed and murder and incest impregnation in vitro, and it's a wild thing. It's Mark Millar, and so people are going, he writes that. I bet he writes such evil villains. I bet he's a little evil himself. They even had one Comics by Perch quoted one person in particular who said, "quote Mark Millar writes incredibly sick villains. Why are his villains so evil as opposed to the Joker?" Which is like, is that not the most perfect encapsulation of the modern comic book fan? They don't want a story. They don't understand these characters. They want merchandise. They want their Joker merchandisable so that they can go, pin, Joker is part of my personality.
It's like
I identify
one side
with Joker.
wants merchandise and memes, and the other one wants like butt sex and orientation, and that's pretty much where we're at with comic books right now.
And then they team. That's dude
about the story.
Yeah, that's actually really perfect. Because then I also thought about the Marvels, how they marketed the movie with the cat stream, which is just like 5 fans maybe. Like, okay, the cats are cute. I'm not gonna lie, but like, who asked for this? Like, does this help? Who's this appealing to? It's those 5 meme lords.
Do you remember Fish Tank Live on Adult Swim? That's what that cat stream reminded me of. I just wanted 2 sportscasters to come on and start talking about the cats just over aggressively.
There they go.
Just
there
like,
they go.
There's Mittens coming around the corner. He's gonna catch Cuddles right in the face. Ah, dang! Right in the face. Cuddles is not gonna recover from this. It's not. He's out for the season now. Yeah, I was waiting. I
love those.
It was just women going around trying to make sure the cats didn't fall asleep because they got bored.
Right? Like, they didn't. Even if you looked at like the room that the cats were in, it didn't have like toys. It had like one scratching post. Like, they didn't have anything to do but sleep, so they slept.
I feel like this was like what do cats interact? I don't know. I have 8 of them. They interact with each other. I feel like that was what happened in their planning group about this. Like, oh, we should have a cat stream. What are they gonna do? I don't know. My cats usually try to kill each other because I'm a neglectful parent.
Oh my gosh.
And I leave them to eat each other, while I complain about things on the internet all day.
Oh, why aren't these cats doing it? Is that because they're treated well? What? I don't understand. I like that. I like that. Because it just was nonsensical up and down the board.
That's what Bob Iger was thinking. He logs into YouTube. He's gonna watch himself some golf videos, but he sees that the Marvel channel's live. He's like, oh, that's a little weird. There's cats. It's just cats. There's nothing happening. It's just cats. There's no commentary. They're not Avengers cats. They're not like cosmic. They're just cats.
They're just cats.
Cats.
They're not even all like this Goose's breed or whatever. Like, they're just cats.
Right. And he's like, yeah, this is a good waste of money right here. This is a good investment. Perlman's gonna love this. And then he goes back to watching golf videos. This is how I imagine it went. This is amazing. This is a great idea.
He goes to Nelson Peltz and he's like, "Is this enough to make you not take over the board? Please, like, will you play nice now? Do you like these cats? Please."
That's on it. Yeah.
So, in the wake of this video, so basically Perch goes, "I don't know what the hell is happening here. These people are clearly like he put it really good where he said they basically went, oh, we can't attack a comic book shop owner because obviously, he's a shop owner. But Mark Millar is an acceptable target." So Perch basically ends his video going, good luck. Like, good luck with that one. Dogpiling on Millar, whatever. So Millar eventually catches wind of the video. He watches it. And this kicks off this is where the meat of the story starts. So, Cider, you might know more specifically, but as far as I can tell, it seems the term cancel pigs was started by Millar a couple days before this. I think it was floating around. Do you know anything about that? Because I do a search of his account and he used it a few times, but he never explained it like this.
So in the interview with Glenn, that's when he explained the term, and from that point forward, he started using it. I believe it was because I want to hear it with his. I heard it with his voice, so I believe he said it out loud during the interviews. He said, "I call them cancel pigs," and I know I did a terrible Scottish accent. I'm very tired. So
sounding like Grant Morrison instead.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little bit.
I did run to the bathroom at one point while I was watching, so it might have been that second. Yep. So that's probably okay. So Millar coins the term cancel pigs in that interview with Glenn, and immediately it catches fire with Comicsgate, with people like in our sphere, non-comic skaters, everybody who just is sick of this starts going, yes, forget cancel pigs. The people who want to tear you down for nothing more than their own gain, those are cancel pigs, and we need to ignore them. So Millar sort of brought this more to the public in response to Perch. He retweeted or he shared Perch's video and said, quote, "This vid by Comics by Perch is perfect. When I tell pals cancel pigs equate the actions of the villain with the true views of a writer, like Stan Lee siding with Dr. Doom, they don't believe me. There's a light shining on these goons now, and they look very silly. We know, of course, what's really going on here. Cancel pigs hunt creators under the guise of virtue, A, because many of them are sociopaths who take pleasure in hurting others, and B, they really want their jobs. See the current situation at the big two for how that worked out," which he's obviously saying they got their jobs and it's not great. Continuing, "The most shameful episode in their little reign of terror was their hunting and marginalization of Howard Chaykin, one of the nicest and most talented creators in the biz. They tried to destroy a man in his 70s for internet likes, and pros must never be silent if this happens again." For those who don't remember, Howard Chaykin liked some very milquetoast, Republican GOP tweets, around the time of the election. And that just, back in 2016, 2018, 17, whatever, that was enough to get all of the comic pros whipped up in a fervor and attack you. And that's what happened. We have a couple articles on Bounding Into Comics, but that was at the time, it was just me and John. So we don't have the biggest coverage, but there's some info there, but that's what happened with Chaykin. So Millar continues, quote, "So many big name creator pals are buzzing about our big enough last week, but it's honestly so easy. Just block them and laugh at them. It's meaningless. These people don't even read comics. Never, ever appease or encourage their cruelties." I know he has a lot more, but I love that one just hits everything. Just block them. It's meaningless. They don't read comics and don't appease them. Don't ever, ever, ever appease them. And I know we all sort of know that lesson here. I know I'm preaching to the choir, but it's sort of what else can I do but just sort of drive that point home? Millar continues, "Some genuine career advice for any wannabe cancel pigs. A huge part of freelance life is your peers/editors wanting to work with you. Everybody just wants to enjoy their job and have fun. If you're toxic, nobody wants to touch you, and many of you are in this place now. You are absolutely not going to get writer X's job on Batman if you spend 6 months harassing him into suicide. You will only be remembered by his editor and peers as someone who tried to bankrupt their pal, and they will never be there for you. Here endeth the lesson." So obviously that was the opening shot of, that was the sort of opening shot heard around the world. And in return, Millar obviously got a bunch of replies, some positive, some negative, some agreeing, some disagreeing, all over the place. But there was one fan in particular who drew a reply from Millar, or a couple fans who drew some relevant replies from Millar. One of them was Midnight King 3 on Twitter, who said, "It's funny they are flailing impotently in all fronts trying to cancel successful blokes like Millar, Wendigoon, an internet historian, and all three are pretty apolitical at the moment. If you don't know those last two, they're YouTubers. Wendigoon is trying to be canceled, literally, and I'm not even being I'm not exaggerating. He's a Christian, and that's it. He's a Christian who likes guns and supported Kyle Rittenhouse. Not even he doesn't evangelize, he doesn't talk about it. He just is, and that they don't like it. I'm not even for like sensationalism. That's it. Like that is it. And then internet historian, he was caught plagiarizing some parts of a video he made a while ago, but he had cleared it up like months ago, but now it's being brought back up. It's a whole thing that we don't need to get into here. But basically the guy's saying it's really funny that, you know, everybody's trying to cancel these three guys who don't really talk about politics. They're apolitical. They just sort of do their craft. To that, Millar replied, they have no power. I spoke to one of DC's, and this sort of gets to what you were saying, Jacob. I spoke to one of DC's biggest writers at the weekend. I guess that must be a British way of saying it, or English, whatever you are, Josh, you dirty, not American. And he told me he's lived in fear of them for years, but I couldn't emphasize this hard enough. Cancel pigs hurt people for sport because they're damaged personalities. And then somebody asks, you know, if they had no power, then why are you blaming them for the decline of the industry? And Millar explains, they have zero power over creators, but writers and editors have made the mistake of trying to appease them for the past 7 years. And it's been fiscal suicide as they don't really read comics. We'll discuss with retailers on my live stream tomorrow night. Side note, that live stream, I believe, it's already happened, obviously, yesterday. It's a really good roundtable. It's him with 3 shop owners. I don't actually remember their names off the top of my head. The biggest surprise to actually come out of it, and again, credit where credit was due. I don't like her. I don't think anybody here likes her. But Gail Simone came out in support of Millar's talk with those guys. You know, she goes, these are veteran owners. Go listen to them. They have something to say. Like, it's a very, again, don't like her, but credit where credit is due. And then, Millar just sort of goes on to sort of clarify some more things, saying, oh, and nice try to the cancel pigs trying to frame me as a Comicsgate guy so they can use their typical line of attack. I don't believe in any factions. I'm my own man, and I believe in good comics. And then ultimately, he was asked for a straight definition of, you know, what are cancel pigs? And Millar explained that cancel pigs
are fat people who cancel people on the internet. That's kind of the whole concept.
That's essentially what he is. He just gives it a nicer one. But you also forgot the rainbow hair. That's the important part. Millar explains cancel pigs are Twitter packs like the people who mobbed retailer Glenn O'Leary last week, mocking him and trying to destroy his reputation. We've seen it happen with comic pros too, like Howard Chaykin and many others. Entirely for sport. The cancel pig exists to destroy because he cannot create. Full stop. And so this is, I would like to think, and I understand I'm probably being a little more optimistic than I should be, but I see this as like, I see this as an absolute win. Like, more people are waking up to this crap. More people are pushing back against it. And I think having Millar come out, you know, a big name creator, and straight up go, guys, they don't have any power. And this is somebody who's in the industry, does not care about appeasing them. He's probably about as objective you can be in this spot. And he's straight up saying the writers and editors made the mistake. And I think like that's the point. Like, they made the mistake of ever going, oh, okay, you're right. We should probably change that because it's offensive. The second you do that, you're done. Like
you gave them the power that they didn't have.
Exactly. It's not even like, you know, give a mouse a cookie, he'll want some milk. It's not even like that. Like incremental. It is literally give a mouse a cookie. Next thing you know, your company is like being bought out from under you, and you are being thrown into prison for something. I don't know, but like that's essentially the level of power that sort of gives you. I mean, we've seen it in the past too. When people ignore those, you know, the whiners, the cancel pigs, all of them, not only do they get like a huge boon of like goodwill with their fans, but it also sort of makes their product better, because you know that they're not sitting there like Russell T Davies going, okay, how do I make them all happy? How do I make them happy at, like, in the sense of not being offended? How do I do that? How do I be so inclusive? How do I I love it. I'm a big fan. We have Rogue's backstory.
Here's what you say. You don't. that's the blueprint.
It's the that like Russian poster for like the old Soviet one for like saying no to alcohol, where it's like just say no, like yeah, like that's what you got to do. Rogue's backstory says cancel pigs are villains, but they don't realize it. I almost kind of think they do realize it. Honest to God, I think they do realize it, because they know what power they wield. They know that nobody really likes them, right? Except for their own insular bubble who goes, good job. Oh my gosh, right? Exactly. And they they continue to do this. And Millar or Perch pointed it out specifically. The way you know that they're aware of it is that they actively changed their target from Glenn O'Leary to Mark Millar. If these were people who were, you know, just caught up in the wave and they didn't know that they were villains, they would have stayed going after Glenn. But they know how they come across. They know what their optics are. They know they're villains. And yet they still go, I can't be the baddie. Are we the baddies? No, we're not the baddies. You're the baddies because, I don't know, there weren't enough black people in your Christmas card. Whatever they want to be mad about that.
You're bad because I watched Roots 30 years ago, and I'm pretty sure that all white people were bad or something along those lines. I'm pretty sure that's the origin story.
Not
the other white person.
Yeah, exactly.
I need a lecture on being an ethnic race from all the truly woke white people.
You know what's actually even?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, exactly. Cider on TikTok.
You know what's actually even funny though? Somebody must be complaining that Mark Millar actually misgendered the cancer pig at the end. So it's like, oh, he treated us as
wow.
And you know there's somebody seething because of it.
Well, that's the thing. It's like these people. It's sort of, you know, what Cider said before, where it's like there's no winning answer for these people. That's what they do. They put you in catch-22 so that no matter how you answer, it's a gotcha. Because to them, they can, no matter what you say, it's sort of like it's basically saying like you can never be forgiven. Because if you do something, you know, today, and then maybe you change, maybe you do all this stuff, blah, 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 they'll still write off anything you have to say because 20 years ago, you said something they didn't like. Mm-hmm. They don't care if it makes sense. They will get that petty. Like we've seen.
It makes sense because, like I said, they hate God. And what is the two pillars of Christianity? Redemption and forgiveness, which is the two things they don't believe in.
That's actually, I've never even thought of that, but that's actually like a really good point.
It lines up, like, is all I'm saying.
No, it completely does. There is no redemption to them.
How many times have we complained about that in comic books and in movies? How you have these stories where characters are just awful and then they die awful and they get no chance of redemption like whatsoever. It's like, remember the movie Not Okay? Remember my big complaint about that movie is that they just yell at the white girl for 5 minutes and the movie ends. No redemption.
Like that's all that ending was just a blowout at white people. But let's see. Leslie says, cancel pigs are like Pennywise. They are defeated if you laugh at them instead of fearing them. Absolutely. Like, that's absolutely true. And that's why, like, when you get a cancel pig in your mentions, or if you ever interact with one, just don't. Like, the next time a cancel pig wants to interact with you or try and pick a fight with you, go, you know, all of Power Rangers is on YouTube. Like, you can go back and watch all of those. We got Soul Eater on YouTube.
Even the Japanese ones.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you've got other stuff to do rather than argue with someone who thinks that, you know, men can give birth through their butts or whatever the cause of the week is these days, right?
Apparently women can give birth through their butts too.
That's what I was referencing, the Mystique thing. Yeah. Dante Eric says, makes sense. I watched Roots as a kid and have been internalizing ever since. Oh, this is a really quick, whatever, like a tangent, but there was a tweet. There's like a Twitter thread going around today. I don't know if you guys saw it. Maybe not. Maybe Cider might have. But there's like this Twitter user who's like actively going, oh, I feel uncomfortable watching like or having sexy women in video games because I like sexy women, but I know I'm not supposed to objectify them. And when I see them and I'm like turned on by them, I feel like I'm objectifying him. And it's this whole thread of people going like, you're joking, right? And he's like, no, I'm trying to do better. I learned how misogynistic the male gaze was like 3 years ago or something.
Oh yeah, these Zoomer kids don't have a chance.
So in other words, they MK Ultra'd him into not liking boobs. That's pretty much like where.
Well, they do. No, they do like the boobs, but what it's going to create is a bunch of sex offenders. Because these guys are going to sit there and deny themselves into a point where gooning's not going to be a solution anymore.
No.
That's look what happened to them. Okay. Do you know how Genghis Khan got his guys motivated to do things? I guarantee it wasn't gold. It wasn't gold, guys.
It was a little more red and a little more pink.
Yep.
Dante also says, don't forget about MST3K and riff tracks on Tubi.
Right.
Just don't forget about Tubi in general. They're killing it. Like,
I said this
best
earlier
stuff.
this week. Tubi is by far the pound for pound best streaming platform, and it's completely free. So they haven't screwed it up
You've been
yet.
preaching
So go
Tubi
watch
for
it
years.
Yeah.
I started watching Tubi because you recommended it, because I was like, all right.
Yeah.
I don't like
because like I said,
but
the problem is that these modern shows in movies have gotten so bad now that as a result, like Tubi's just playing old stuff, and it's like, yeah, the old stuff is way better than the new stuff, and I don't have to pay to watch the old stuff, so I'd rather just watch Tubi.
Well, like, it's 100. That's true too. Like, I can speak from experience. There are moments where, like, you know, I'll be like flipping channels or like looking on my screen and like, ugh, a Marvel movie, latest Transformers, whatever. Oh, look at that on Tubi. Look at that. It's Indian in the cupboard. Holy crap. And like, I actually like get excited for like to watch something. It only really happens when I'm looking at like Tubi's offerings. Yeah.
Well,
Leslie's got it. Tubi is great. And then
Spencer, we do have the results of the poll.
Oh, I would love to hear the results of the poll. So
the poll.
Yeah. Take us away, Cider.
So the poll at the beginning was, who is the better Two-Face, Rachel Zegler or James Gunn? And in true Two-Faced fashion, it's 50-50.
Wow. I'm like legitimately
After 39
impressed.
votes, by the way.
That doesn't, how does that work?
No, it's 38.
38? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Can't be 50-50 with 39. You're breaking my
I looked
brain.
too quick. I looked too quick. It's 38. My bad.
It sounds like American politics right there, huh? 81 million votes.
Yeah, honestly, that he's found our votes.
Straight up 50-50 right there.
I just wanted to address something that Meteor said real quick. He says that Tubi also has the worst movies mixed with the old stuff. Let me ask you guys a genuine question right now. This is a shoot. Would you rather watch the new Indiana Jones movie, or would you rather watch Soul Plane?
Oh,
I'd watch The Hands of Manos instead of the new Indiana Jones.
Sorry, you're going all the way bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, even the stuff we considered bad 20 years ago is still better.
Soul Plane has a plane that has hydraulics on it.
Indiana
Jones got
no. Regular planes have hydraulics. This has a lift kit hydraulic system.
Okay, yes, correct.
That's a little different.
Yeah, everybody's here. Hey, it's me, NHD says Soul Plane, hands down. Dante says Max has all the good stuff from Turner Classic Movies. They were good, but I also feel like they just remove a lot of stuff at random. So it's sort of like, if I want to watch something today, I better watch it today because it might not be there tomorrow. And that's not even talking about like they're canceling things. I just mean the way they shuffle their content is a little too fast. And that's just, yeah.
See,
it is what
I
it is.
can't watch Tubi because every now and then some gal comes on dressed like this and my heart breaks. Because women don't dress like this anymore, and I just, I can't live with it. It hurts my heart.
The Mario tomboy, where is she? Where? Come to us, Carmen Sandiego, Super Mario.
That used to be an aesthetic that guys used to be into, but now it's like, no, you're totally trans now. If you dress like that, it's like, no, it's like stop.
That's not how it works.
You don't even need to wear the full thing. You just need to wear like the hat. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh man, a guy wore that hat once. You're trans. Welcome to the party.
Doesn't Jonathan Majors actually kind of wear that kind of clothes as well?
Oh, Jonathan, yeah, that is exactly what Jonathan Majors wears. Like,
so yeah, men stop dressing like this. Women start dressing like this.
Let's be the change we want to see in the world. And it's funny you bring that up. Change? What? Change? Oh yeah, dude. We saw this right before we came up. I think this is a great way to close us out. Jacob, do you want to start us with the story? Because I know you have thoughts on it.
Thoughts.
So, in case you guys didn't know how we got to this point, over the course of the last few weeks, there have been a number of female streamers on Twitch, and I know this sounds like a recurring story because we've been talking about it here for the last several years now, but Twitch has pretty much succumbed to Twitch thoughts. I don't think that's a surprise to anyone who's been paying attention over the last several years, but over the last couple of weeks, there's been numerous female streamers who are now just doing streams completely topless, and people are saying that, oh, well, they have pasties on their nipples or whatnot, but the way that it's being shown, it's like you can't differentiate between Twitch and like Chatterbait anymore. Like, it's pretty much almost identical at this point in time. So people were saying like, well, this is okay on Twitch now. It's like you guys have balked at like every other attempt or chance to like curl any of this stuff. So it's like, are you guys finally going to take action now? And we found out that the answer is a resounding no. As a matter of fact, they updated their sexual content policy to make it okay for them to continue to do this. So the Twitch thoughts now have a green light to now what they call artistic nudity. So a number of changes were made here. It permits sexual theme labels now. So it's like, oh, we'll just put sexual on Twitch. So now Twitch is going to come with sexually themed labels just so these thoughts can continue to make money here. They're also going to allow game nudity when it's acceptable. Body pinning is still going to be acceptable. Mature games and stream visibility is going to be impacted with content labels. So their way around this is like, well, instead of actually stopping these women from turning this into a porn site, we're just going to put warning labels on the site. So now I'm pretty sure if you go to just chatting now, you're probably going to find like 5 or 6 girls that every single stream says 18 plus now, and they all have their tops off, because this is what Amazon has decided that they're going to go with Twitch, and this is the future world that we live in now. Like, put it to you this way, if I were to put up one of the streams on YouTube right now, we would probably get banned on YouTube.
We'd be gone.
Yeah, no, it's a Gundam. It's a Gundam covered this yesterday. Did a video on it yesterday, and he said in his video that he had to upload the video 3 times because there was just no way from the collarbone down would YouTube allow this, because it could just somehow. But there's actual porn on YouTube, like full on porn on YouTube. But when this guy tries to upload this evidence of these Twitch thoughts doing what they do, he gets his video yeeted. Yeah, and that's see that now this is the thing that bothers me the most about this, Jacob, because you and I both know what they're gonna do. They're going to make sure that they're not content labeled for sex stuff in the beginning. Or they're going to confuse their screen with so many different windows playing different media that it'll be like an ADD fest of boobs everywhere intermingled with like racist Mario or something. Who knows?
Here's the other cherry on top of this. People were wondering, hey, you guys do anything about these topless streamers? Twitch said, not only are we not going to do anything about these streamers, but we're also going to allow twerking as well. So they went like quite literally doubled down on the policy here. So it's like, yeah, this is just where we are now. Like,
I can't believe you missed. This was what stood out to me from the policy thing, because I went and I read the entire policy update. I was writing the article before we went live, but there's a straight up there. This is a section: changes to popular dances. Popular dances such as twerking, grinding, and pole dancing are now allowed without a label. Previously, some dances were prohibited and others were allowed with a label. Enforcing on dances regardless of context meant our policy prohibited twerking at a wedding or taking a pole dancing exercise class, for example. The policy now takes context into consideration and only prohibits streaming inside of an adult entertainment establishment. So basically, you just can't go inside of a strip club. But that's not what they're doing. Like, they all have poles in their rooms. Like, that's the thing. I've seen so many of them. And it's just it's.
What do you get up to on Twitch, Jay?
I not video games.
Yeah, nobody uses Twitch for video games anymore.
Well, that's sort of like what I was
causes
say,
a different kind of Twitch.
Oh
yeah,
the pants twitch.
That'll be their slogan. Twitch of a different kind.
Twitches. But like, that's the thing is. This is, like Jacob said and Cider said, this is now just a softcore porn site. This used to be a platform where you would stream video games, right? And this is also a kid-centric platform. Like,
that's right.
I mean,
like Fortnite players,
it's not even softcore anymore. There's been people who've been caught having sex on Twitch, and they still haven't even banned those people.
That is true. That is true.
There was an Asian girl that got. Okay, I was gonna say got nailed, but that meant 2 different things. that had that happen with her thing, and they took her off for 2 days, and that's it.
And that was it. It was 2 days.
Yep.
It's just, it's insane to me that it's obvious that they're doing this for money, because they know that the second they say no thoughts or keep it down, they're all going to bounce to Rumble, or they're going to bounce to whatever platform will let them do it for however long it'll let them do it. Now, like, it's insane to me that people went, there are kids watching all this. There are people just out here being like complete thoughts. Can you do something about it? And instead of saying, you're right, let's enforce our rules. They said, no, that's cool for them. You get the hell out of here. It's like, it's just for the money. It's really great. It's predatory on young men, like young boys, and it's bad. Like it's not. I don't even know.
Most of it is no longer even going to be age restricted anymore because they allowed it through the guidelines. So it's like, yeah, you can watch some chick in a thong do squats in the middle of a mirror, and you won't even get an age restricted or mature warning at all. It's just like, no, this is all out.
Don't you dare show a video game with like low cleavage. Don't you dare, or we will get you the heck out of here.
What's a little bit funny and a little bit sad at the same time is that some of the VTubers now are protesting this by having their characters on screen with basically tops as well as like a former protest and the FU to Twitch. But it's sad at the same time that it's gotten to this point to where like they have to do this.
You know what that kind of reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of that picture. I'm sure we've all seen it, but it's like, I think it was like there was like a feminist rally or something in like Spain, and a guy went to like flash them like in the like old school coat, and there's this photo of him like pressed up against the wall because there's like a crowd of women yelling at him.
I came here to do what I wanted. You can't do anything. You have no power.
Exactly. Yeah, they're all yelling at him. They're like, "You pig!" Blah blah blah, and he's just like smiling, like, "Yes, yes." So fantastic. But yeah, welcome to Twitch now. Welcome to everywhere now. You can't go anywhere to escape sort of that. Like I sort of have obviously a different view. I'm more like, I like anime boobs. I like real boobs. I'm up for seeing them. I have nothing against nudity or sexuality of any kind. But you know, sometimes I just want to go.
It's more just the fact that it's like this used to be a site for gamers to live stream their video game. Like that was the purpose of the site, and they're no longer holding on to their purpose because it's like, yeah, well, I mean, these women are making a lot of money off of simps, and we get a cut of that money, so we'll just allow them to keep being whores on the internet as long as we get our 30%.
But Dr. Disrespect, you're done.
Oh, that's right. I forgot all about the Dr. Disrespect thing. It's just like that's all. Like it's all bad, and I really worry about what this is going to do to young boys because it's already a really weird time for them to grow up in, being assaulted, but with negative.
I was mentioning this too.
Now,
it's like
now this is all you have to do. Like
you really can't have like if you have young kids, like do not allow them on any social media, like any. You can't put them on Twitter. You can't put them on Instagram. You can't put them on Twitch. You can barely put them on YouTube if we're being completely honest with ourselves at this point in time. I mean, it's like there's too many go-arounds now where it's like it's bad enough like you're trying to like keep your kids away from just simply like the porn sites, but it's like sites like Twitch, which is basically doing softcore porn now. They're not gonna get caught up on like the mature listings, right? Because it's like, oh, it's just Twitch. People play video games there, and then no one's like paying attention to any of the content that's happening there.
That's exactly it. They get to go out in public. They get to go, oh, Twitch, right? We do video games. Come to TwitchCon where you can see your favorite streamers. Oh, we're integrating with Diablo or whatever. So that's what everybody sees on the like public facing side, the people who might not know Twitch. And then somebody goes, oh, okay, maybe I do want to go check out a Diablo 4 thing. And they go to Twitch, and that's where you get that. That's where it happens. Where now first thing you see is all the e-thoughterry. Like that's what is presented to you first, and so that's your impression, and that's what they want the site to be. It's just bad. It's gross. Purposeful demoralization and dehumanization. I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. Don't let them burn. Okay, I got it right that time. And yeah, oh dude, don't let them burn. Full prawn on X as well. Yes, and it's really bad to the point where like they have bots. Like the porn sites have like bots that will go for like certain keywords and reply with thoughterry, like every single Bounding Into Comics thing, because
it's gotten really bad. I mean, like I said, it's like I said, these are like the basic everyday like social media apps. So it's like I said, they're not going to get blocked because there's adult entertainment on there because they think there's everyone uses and they post about let me take a picture of my cat, and then it's like all the other deep dark stuff is in there. It's like it's either just like people shilling their OnlyFans porn, or you're just like watching like a guy in Columbia get shot in the head, and that's pretty much there's no in between that content now.
Well, there's also CM Punk coming back, which is what everybody is super excited for.
So
I only bring that up because I know it.
Yeah, I mean,
no, get into it. Get into it.
There's a whole mess behind that right now because Punk got fired from AEW 3 months ago because he got in his second fight with somebody backstage. So he left there, went to WWE. Now WWE is negotiating with the network that AEW has to essentially replace WWE with AEW because I guess somebody in the executive branch in Warner Brothers is such a CM Punk mark that somehow they're actually going to bring WWE into the fold just so they can have him on TV again, and it's a whole mess. And then let's don't even bury the lead here that we're talking about in 2 years because they're talking about Warner Brothers going into bankruptcy. There's like a 60% chance they're going into bankruptcy again. So here we go. Here comes Comcast is going to buy Warner in 2 years, and that they're going to swallow up 2 major corporations in one fell swoop, and then that big 6 just became like a big 3. So yeah,
I mean, there's to that same end, Jacob, because you have been like the town crier on this subject. There is a story going around right now that according to I guess like a professional review of all of like Warner Brothers financials and stuff, they have like a 60% chance of shuttering under all their debt. Like they're just not recovering. So it's like, well, that shutters, who buys them? You know, Amazon now we have 3 companies, and then Disney buys AT&T or whatever, and we have 2.
Because first of all, they've been in debt for like 30 years. It's like they're still shoveling on like the same debt from when Ted Turner started this whole thing, like back in like the 80s. We've just been like repackaging this debt over and over again. But it's like if you're $45 billion in debt, why are you offering the WWE $400 million a year to put a show that only like 1.5 million people watch every single week? It's like, it makes no sense.
I mean, I think that perfectly loops back to exactly what we were saying at the top, right? Like it's just people doubling down to sort of win a championship. All they know is like, oh, AEW popular, we get AEW, we get more fan, we get more advertising, and it's like that's not.
Oh well, WWE is number 1 in the 18 to 45 demographic. It's like there's like 1 million people watching the show. The ratings have been going down for 25 years,
and the only reason it's still in the ratings is because like Thursday nights there's nothing else to watch in that.
The only reason why it's number 1 because nobody watches any other crap that's on television anymore because you kill TV. It's like it's Fox News, it's Monday Night Football, then that's it. Like there's nothing else on TV anymore.
They don't even have the DC CW shows now. Those are all gone. Like we're here we are. This is our future. This is our not even multi-conglomerate, like dual conglomerate, everything together, everything biglomerate. Yes, there you go. That's right. Next you're gonna see like, I don't know, CM Punk showing up in the Flash 2. I don't know, maybe he'll replace Ezra.
Sure, why not?
Josh asks, I'll take what's a CM Punk for 500, Alex? He is a mark.
It's a 44-year-old washed up bum who still has a job because a bunch of executives bought ice cream bars when he was wrestling John Cena 12 years ago, and there's still marks of him. So that's why he's still a thing.
So you know what? After all of that, I still have no idea what that person is.
He's basically
if you Google bag of douche, I'm pretty sure he'd be like the 3rd image that pops up. That's
kind of like, here's the best way to like frame him. He is the kind of person, like his personality is, if he'll like get up in your face, Josh, right? Like, oh, let's go. You want to fight? Like, this is my town. This is my turf. And then the second you like punch him or swing at him, he'll go, oh, you didn't do it right. It's not. Yeah, what the heck? I'm suing you. Tongue mom.
Yeah.
Like every time, like that's his entire wrestling career. Every time it's like something happens in the ring, he has to take it out like into the streets, even if it was nothing. Like, oh, he came in on the wrong cue. I can't believe he messed up our tag match. It's like,
yeah,
he was like a second early. Like, what the hell do you want? It's not an exact art. But yes, that is CM Punk. Yeah, screech noise is coming from somewhere. No idea where that's coming from, but the good news, Leslie.
I think that's the laser. I think that's the laser charge.
Is
actually.
it? Oh, let me check.
It's a laser charge.
I do believe the 01 laser is completely charged for tonight's firing. Cider, would you like to lead the crowd through our destruction?
Sure.
Or our destructive action, rather.
I'm just going to push the button.
white supremacy.
Okay, that was even better than you had teased it. Oh my god. Racism, white supremacy, racism, white supremacy. Oh, that's incredible. But I think that is the perfect end cap to wrap up tonight's episode. Everybody, as always, thank you for joining us. It was a blast. It always is. I love talking to every single one of you in the chat, and obviously everybody here on the panel. You can catch us next week, same bat time, same bat channel, for another episode of 01, and I will let everybody else take it away. Jacob, what have you got going on?
Friday night, we're going to be reviewing Wonka, and we're going to be watching Hollywood Shuffle on Friday night. So if you guys like the old Robert Townsend comedy movie, it's going to be a good one to watch on Friday. Monday. Yeah, I know, right? What's that? Monday, we're going to be doing Bible in 23. We're going to ask the question whether the NIV is actually a Catholic Bible in disguise. So that'll be a topic on Monday night. And then on Tuesday, we're going to be doing the Barroom Podcast 79. So that's everything I got coming up. Plus, obviously, the video reviews that I'm working on publishing out here too. So
you're killing them. Yeah, guys, if you want to see more of Jacob throughout the week, obviously we if you didn't catch it last week, he is now doing, like, what is the word? Consistent video movie reviews on our channel. So subscribe, like, all that fun stuff to hear his thoughts on a bunch of movies that are coming out. I know he did Silent Night earlier today, so lots of stuff coming out of Jacob, and it's all good. It's all, like, if he recommends a movie, I listen, and if he doesn't, I pretty much I can tell what movie Jacob's gonna hate. All right, Cider, my man, what have you got going on?
I make videos for Bounding Reading the News.
That he does, and they're incredible, guys. Mondays, Cider has, what's the name of the Monday show now?
Monday Rewind.
The Monday Rewind. It is a complete Cider show. He kills it. He goes over the news, stuff that you might have missed over the weekend, all that fun stuff. Definitely check it out. I always do, even if I can't comment because I'm just clacking away. Obviously, we have a lot of other shows and offerings coming up, or not coming up, but on the channel now. You guys might have seen we have a show called Sky Talker. It is hosted by a man named Stephen Kent. He's a new writer here. You might have seen him on other sites such as the Washington Examiner or the Blaze, but he is he wants to talk about Star Wars. He's obviously not got the same fervor as Mr. Trent, because honestly, who can? That guy, John, is the best when it comes to, like, knowing how to hit Star Wars. But we're having a lot of fun, getting to know him, hoping to guide his content a little more. Check him out. Then we also have Mark Claire, who some of you might know, but he's also doing some video reviews, some daily or some just talk show type of things. Check it all out. It's all great. Come on, hit subscribe. I'm sure most of you who are here right now already are. And with that, Josh, what have you got going on somewhere? I'll point. There we go.
Lots of editing, man. Just lots of editing. Hopefully I can get to write one article by the end of the week. So I'm just, yeah. I don't even know what the story's going to be.
Yesterday.
Yeah, I know. I still haven't got time to write it. So
I believe in you.
Find the time. I don't, because he's British. Literally, that's. I don't have a joke. That's it. As for me, guys,
it's your time to laugh.
It is. This is for me. This is my truth of laughing. As for me, guys, obviously you can catch us, catch everyone here daily on Bounding Into Comics on the website, on Twitter, on any social media platform you happen to use. You can catch me personally on my own channel Fridays at 5 p.m. Pacific time for The Good, the Mad, the Ugly, a 2 to 3 hour live show where we just talk in depth about some of the topics that we might not get to on this show or other shows around the sphere. So if you want some of that, come check it out. And aside from that, I think we will all catch you next week. Anybody got anything else?
Nope. Adios. Goodbye.
All right. Take it easy.